Well, how about a super affordable $36 oil change, affordable brake jobs, AC checks before summer hits, alignments for all these construction roads, and even free check engine light inspections. Locally owned, community driven. G&H Tires and Service on Beach Boulevard.
Here's your Southeast Orthopedic Specialist local sports update. In the NBA, the Magic season has turned into a roller coaster. After climbing to a top 6 seed, Orlando dropped 6 straight and now hits Dallas tonight, fighting to stabilize its playoff push. Jacksonville will host rival Stetson again this evening as they look to push their winning streak to 3 in a row. The Hatters lead the all-time series. The Dolphins look to close the gap at John Sessions Stadium. First pitch is at 7. At your Southeast Orthopedic Specialist local sports update, I'm Sam Nelson.
Right now, 82 degrees at 1:59. Time and 10 brought to you by Bueller Air and Plumbing. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL, presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farah doesn't flinch. Now, Lauren Brooks, Taylor Dahl, and Tom McManus. This is
Helmets and Heels.
Helmets and Heels on 1010XL.
Good Friday to everyone out there as we approach Easter on Sunday. Taylor, does Easter look like some Easter egg hunts for you?
It does. My nephews are definitely going to want to hunt some eggs, so I'll be a part of that with them, which is fun. It's to see how excited they get over like finding the egg, and it's like sitting right out in the open. I'm like, okay, there's the yellow egg in the middle of the yard.
It has to be easy to identify. The older they get, the more complicated they can make it.
Yeah. We're going to have it as well because we're hosting Easter.
Yeah, how many people?
About 35, 40.
That's a lot of people.
A lot of
is this
kids.
a sit-down dinner or lunch?
But, it's like, it's just sit-down dinner. But we got tables for outside, inside.
I love it.
Yeah,
and you're cooking everything?
No. We're cooking some things, but everyone's bringing a dish. It'll be a great time. But I remember, laying the eggs for the night before, and I would always forget where a few were. Because we were probably hanging out drinking or something.
Find them like a few weeks later. There's that egg.
Hey, Dad, look what I found. Oh, yeah, I forgot I put it over there. But, the kids love it. It's absolutely fantastic, man. Great part of Easter.
Yeah.
You guys do one with, it's like money in the eggs, right?
Normally, my mom will do, eggs
got a golden egg.
With money. There's a golden egg that has more.
Egg, yeah.
This year, my cousin's going to be out of town, so we're not going to do an Easter egg hunt, but that's quite all right because we're going to have crawfish.
Oh,
so
nice.
There you go.
Yes, I'm
good exchange.
Exactly. I'm really excited about that part of things for sure. But yeah, my grandparents, that was our tradition growing up, was they would do an Easter egg hunt for all the cousins, and we would never find all of them. They'd be like, okay, we hid, I want to say like 50.
Mm-hmm.
And every year we'd come up with like 45 and they'd be like, well, they'll be there next
find
year.
them one day. My mom would always lose them too. And she'd be like, she would forget how many she'd be like, I can't quite, it was like 50, 55, something like that. So we never even knew exactly how many to find.
Are we done?
But we'd find them for weeks after. Sometimes she would do that with presents too. Like it would be 2 months after Christmas and she'd be like, oh, I hid this from you guys and I found it in the closet. And I'm like, cool, we get presents.
I think I've told you this story before. My parents were hosting New Year's and I had gone out with friends and then come back and realized my mom had forgotten that she had brie to serve. And so there was brie in the microwave, and I was like, "This is the greatest thing
like,
ever!" Like brie all to myself. This is unbelievable.
After a night out.
Oh yeah, yeah. Give me all the cheese. All right, I want to talk about the Jacksonville Jaguars today, as we do pretty much every day around these parts. Liam Coen earlier this week at the owners' meetings was, of course, talking about last season, and we all know that they exceeded expectations in 2025. I think most people thought if the Jaguars can get somewhere around 500 after a 4-win season with all the newness, that's going to be pretty good. Well, obviously, they shocked people, including us, when they won 13 games, won the AFC South, made it, not just made it to the postseason, but it hosted a postseason game, a wild card game against the Buffalo Bills. But Liam Coen said the team could improve and still not win 13 games next season.
There's nothing that we're defending. We're attacking everything that we're doing. That's the mindset and mentality. We could, theoretically, we could get better as a football team and not win 13 games. Like that's something that we have to be prepared for. We have to understand. Because if we live in those results of last year, this ain't going to be a fun process and we won't like what we see. I got to believe that. So everything that we attack from this offseason moving forward as we go into this new regular season here, it's all brand new. I mean, yes, there's going to be some ability to start like round 1 or 2 and different levels of your offense, defense, and special teams, your systems. But there's going to be new players, there's new coaches, there's new relationships and communication ways that we need to operate. And so if we attack it the same way as last year and we just say, well, we already made that relationship, we already had that connection, well, that's going to be a different connection on this team because every team is different.
It's also going to be a challenging schedule with only 6 games at Everbank Stadium in front of a limited capacity crowd. But either way, I love how their mindset is. But of course, the question is, how do you define a successful season in 2026? Is it getting close to 13 wins or double-digit win season? Is it you have to win a game in the postseason? Where are the expectations for next season?
For me, you're, a playoff contender.
Yeah.
And we know what that looks like in December. And you're also a division winner contender, and I don't care if it's neck and neck, it doesn't matter. But you show that. I think that's, what they're looking for, because then anything can happen in the playoffs, as we know. You know what I mean? You get on a run, who knows what can happen. But yeah, no, I think that should be the minimum. Like we they have the players, they got the core, they've got some things to figure out, but he's right about the mentality. Like it's so, the whole rest on your laurels, how long has that been around? Like forever.
Yeah.
There's a reason, because you can rest on your laurels, in anything, and especially in sports, especially in football. Like, yeah, a great week last week. Well, what about this week? Well, I didn't play well this week. Well, we're talking about this week. Well, what about last week? Well, screw last week. It doesn't matter anymore. And that's the same for the season. Can they be better? Yeah, they can be better. They sure can. Now, winning 13 out of 17 is unbelievable.
Yeah.
But could you be better as an 11-win team? Yeah, you could. Yeah. Your defense could be better. You could be better on third down on offense, just a little bit better. Your defense, your O-line, they gave up I was looking at my final team stats. Yeah. That's what I was looking for. They gave up the 6th most sacks in the league. Like, so yeah, there's definitely room for the running game.
Yeah.
That's the stink, right? That we keep hearing or have heard this week. So yeah, you can look, you got to obviously be close to that 10 win to win your division. I mean, somebody's good. The chances are in every division, the leader's got at least 10 wins. Sometimes that's
other than the
a
NFC
flyer.
South.
Yeah.
Yeah, or that, right.
South
right.
Too,
but rarely, most of them are you got to have 10 wins. So look, could they have a couple wins less and be a better team? I say absolutely.
I want this team to talk, Taylor, to the 90s Jaguars, because of all the different eras of Jaguars football, that's really the only group that didn't get complacent, that didn't rest on their laurels. Every other time we pretty much talk about the postseason, it's
the next year.
The next year they didn't make the playoffs.
Far from that.
Yeah. So maybe they need to have those conversations with that group of guys.
Yeah, continuing that on. And I think that this coaching staff has been very vocal, and this cut from Liam Coen kind of shows that, in the sense of they know it's not easy to win 13 games. It's not easy to win double-digit games in this league right now. And so when you do it, it is the best of the best doing it. And then I think to his point, when it comes to, I don't think the numbers specifically matters. You do want double-digit wins because you're probably not getting in the postseason if you don't. But I don't think it's a failure if they win 11 next year. I don't think you can correlate a successful season to how many wins they have directly. That's part of it, because you want to win as many games as possible. But for me, it is more so, I think winning a playoff game is a part of that. You want to be a true playoff contender, and a win in the postseason is, ideal. Deeper into the postseason in general is what you want. I think for me, a part of that is Trevor being Trevor from week 1 throughout the year. Yes, there'll be maybe a little bit of ups and downs. Not every quarterback's perfect for all 17 weeks they play. But I think not waiting, not feeling like you're waiting until that 8 or 9 weeks in. I'd like to see Trevor from start to finish, that consistency that we saw those final 5 games be throughout the season. I think to me that would link to a successful season. I mean, you go back and you look at Kansas City. They won the Super Bowl when they won 11 games. They won the Super Bowl when they won 14. They lost the Super Bowl when they won 15. So I don't think that number directly correlates to your best team that you can put out on the field.
Yeah, and Liam's father's a big influence on him. His dad's a coach. His dad's got old school, tough love mentality. That's just the era. Coughlin's in that era.
Right.
That's just the era that it was. And what And so he's got that in him, because how you do it back to back to back like we did is you do start it over. You're back to zero. Coach is still going to rip you if you do something wrong. There's no, oh, don't worry about it, shake it off, it'll be okay. It's no, I'm still going to coach you the way I coached you this year. We went 13 wins, and I'm going to coach you hard, and we're going to celebrate when we win. And it works. We've seen it work. And that's when you got to have, again, that match guys to that message. Like, okay, you got guys that, okay, coach, we get it. And we thrive in that. We love that, because we're in the off season right now trying to improve something in our game, speed, strength, whatever, doing the extra workouts and whatnot. So we're okay with that. You got that right mentality. So I think he will. That's why I do think they have that great chance. It's easier said than done, because success, it's different when you like you came from under the radar. Nobody expected you to have the season you had, and you probably didn't either. But then you got on a run. You're like, oh, wait, we do have a really good team. It's starting to come together, and look what we can do. You know what I mean? So, but at the same time, you got to say, okay, that was great. Now we got to start over and forget about that and move on, and let's start building this thing from scratch, stacking those days.
I think an emphasis on practice being exactly how you're going to play on Sundays, right? Like, I don't know if in previous regimes the practices were the players were held to that standard, and it's like, okay, yeah, we got it wrong in practice, but we'll get it fixed on Sunday. Well, no, you're not going to get it fixed when it comes to the game, whether it's Thursday or Sunday.
Yeah, having the practice they did with the alignment assignment practice and going back to that when the preseason game didn't work, that right there was setting a standard. And I think that, so you're doing that already in camp, and the guys obviously bought into that, and you have to have the right players also, because you have to have those players that aren't going to complain that they're doing the boring stuff sometimes, or
we complain.
Yeah, we're like, well, this is a terrible practice to watch, but it worked. And granted, it took a little bit to work because there were still some alignment assignment issues for several weeks throughout the beginning of the season, but we saw that as a focus early on. And then because of that, you saw a lot of those things cleaned up midway through the season. And previous years, how many times a couple years ago did we talk about the miscues and all of the stuff going defensively, and that lasted the entire season and it never got fixed because they didn't go back to those basics and fix some of those things. And so this coaching staff has just been so much better when it comes to kind of nipping things in the bud. This is a problem, and we're not going to let it continue to be a problem, whether that's some of Trevor's mechanical stuff, somewhat, the mechanics, whether that's certain things when it comes to the screen game not working. Like, they're very vocal about, if this isn't working, we're going to fix it or we're going to nix it. And that's kind of what they've done. Yeah.
And they want to attack the off season. You heard him say that with Brian Thomas. I want you to attack these next 2 months. Attack it like we didn't win 13 games. Attack it like you're fighting for your football life. Attack it like, it means everything to get to that playoff. And then we'll win a playoff game and hopefully get all the way to the big show. But you gotta duplicate it. So it's almost like, okay, the dream's over. Now we start over on a brand new dream, and you don't know the ending, right? You don't know what the outcome's going to be. And if you attack it like that, and that's what Liam's talking about, and that's what I love about it. He's got a new school approach with the old school foundation. Like, no, listen, it's got to be this way. I've got to coach you hard. We got to be held accountable. I got to be held accountable. So do you. All our coaches are going to be too. That's just the way we do it. And when you win, we get excited. You see them in the locker room. You see them, whatever, you get a day off, those types of things. So making them earn it. You got to, that's where you make them earn it in the off season. Then when you get into the training camp, make it earn a little bit more, and then you're ready to rock and roll, and hopefully you end up getting on a run and having a good year.
And yeah, to your point, Taylor, as far as Trevor, like, even more of this is on his shoulders for this season, right? Like, this is his offense now, and this is his second year in the system, and he already went through all the learning curve part of things. Like, and he's the leader of the team, regardless of whether you want to look at a defensive player, that should be a leader too, and like a Josh Hines-Allen. This is his football team. And so, he also has to attack the offseason and show them how hard
I think he will.
He's working. Yeah.
Or
and then anytime they forget how painful it was to lose that game to the Bills, go back and rewatch the game, or rewatch your press conferences after, in the locker room after. Like, that pain, you want to build from that place. All right, more Jaguars on the other side. It is Friday here on Helmets and Heels, 1010XL, 92.5 FM.
Big radio.
The biggest, man.
1010XL.
The biggest of them all. Mike Dempsey. If you're thinking about a bathroom upgrade, maybe turning that old tub into a safer walk-in shower, check out 5 Star Bath Solutions. I shopped around, talked to several companies, and I chose 5 Star because their customer service was simply incredible. Responsive, honest, upfront about the entire project, and their pricing was even better than expected. When you're ready for a fresh look, better comfort, and a bathroom space you'll love using every day, schedule your free consultation at 5starbathsolutions.com and get the 5-star experience.
It's a Helmets and Heels
Fountain Iron Associates.
Friday.
Has any Major League Baseball player ever hit 2 grand slams in the same inning?
Filing an insurance claim following a storm shouldn't be an ordeal. Southern Oak Insurance's claim team prepares for catastrophic situations well in advance. Log on to southernoak.com.
Our family protecting yours. Southern Oak Insurance.
Fernando Tatis of the Cardinals hit 2 grand slams in the same inning in 1999. Both came off the same pitcher, Chan Ho Park of the Dodgers.
Southern Oak Insurance. Our family protecting yours.
Take a walk on the wild side and step into the great outdoors.
Look at this beast.
Captain Kevin and Captain Kirk join Jeff Lageman every Saturday morning from 7 to 10 on the Nimnet Outdoors Show.
You got it.
On 1010XL.
Hey, it's Matt Hayes. Most things are easy when you're motivated. The question is, what happens when you're not? That's where Awaken 180 was different for me, Sneaky Joe, Bowerly, Beamer, and everyone else I know. Get motivated at awaken180weightloss.com.
Southwest Greens is the OG of artificial turf in North Florida. Stop mowing and start chipping or putting or just relaxing with a beautiful backyard, maintenance free. Log on to southwestgreensofjacksonville.com to see what they can do to your backyard.
At Cannons of Jacksonville, they know that when you're towing anything, you gotta have products you can rely on. With over 50 years of fabrication expertise, the family at Cannons can repair or install precisely what you need to tow with confidence. Whether it's a heavy-duty hitch, trailer frame, gooseneck, tow bar, or any other towing accessory, Cannons will provide you with unmatched precision and durability. For all your towing needs, visit cannonsofjacks.com, where quality and customer satisfaction collide.
I'm with Greg from Cycles of Jacksonville. Triumph did a really cool thing last year, Greg. They went off-road. What's happening with Triumph?
Well, not only did they go off-road, they threw all the chips on the table. Ricky Carmichael personally developed this motorcycle for them. So if you haven't seen the Ricky Carmichael 450, you need to come see it. Also just released some Enduros this year. They've got a full lineup. You're going to love them.
Talking Triumph, the latest off-road. Cycles of Jacksonville on Atlantic near Regency. Check out cyclesofjacksonville.com.
Checkmate. I'm Brendan Cecilia, founder of Checkmate Coatings.
And I'm Chester, the Checkmate Chessman.
At most companies, people start on the ground floor and work their way up to the corner office. At Checkmate, I started on the ground floor, and almost 20 years in, that's still where I am, making ground floors look awesome, one garage at a time.
Well, I started as a pawn and worked my way up to king.
No, you didn't. Some guy drew you as a king. I asked them to give you a roller, so at least you'd look like one of the guys.
Yes, I rather would have preferred a sword.
At Checkmate, I work personally with our teams to perfect the preparation and application techniques that make Checkmate floors beautiful and durable.
And I keep things classy with my adorable accent.
Beautiful floors?
Check. Guaranteed to last?
Check. The finishing touch your home deserves? Checkmate.
Transforming your floors, making them great. Checkmate.
Visit checkmatecoatings.com.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Focused, fueled, fearless, Farah.
Sad to report, by the way, the Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp lost last night to the Sugarland Space Cowboys 3-2.
Boo.
I know, but hopefully you
Space
get
Cowboys is funny though.
It is
It's
funny.
a funny name.
It was fun to go to.
Yeah.
Always go if you have the chance to go to a Jumbo Shrimp game. Always go, especially this time of year. It's
it's
absolutely
great.
beautiful.
Yeah.
I was almost chilly, as a matter of fact.
Yeah.
Like that's how beautiful it was last night. And then you've got the Iceman tonight.
I do. Yep. It's like a cancer awareness type night tonight. So I'm going with my friends Mike and Alyssa. I've shared their story on here before. Their son got diagnosed with cancer when he was 4 months old. He's good now, but they're still very, intertwined in the community with that. So we figured tonight would be a good night to go for that. But I know they lost in overtime last night. So they gained a point, but they lost. So hopefully for a win tonight. But I love Iceman games. They're a blast.
Yeah,
Oh,
Season's winding down. So you got to get out there if you haven't gone.
Yeah, and they've been getting great crowds. haven't they?
Yeah.
That's great.
They had one, like, it was like 15,000, which is like capacity at
that
that arena.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
There was, I know, more than 5,000 at the Jumbo Shrimp game last night, which I get. Also, this weekend is a little tricky. You've got, like, for some people, Holy Thursday last night, Good Friday today, Holy Saturday tomorrow, Easter Sunday. So I get, like, it's a busier time of year when it comes to that kind of thing.
Yeah, I've always just had tremendous respect for hockey players. They're a different kind of tough.
Yeah, they're a different breed for
rugby
sure.
and them are the kind of similar, right? You know, I mean, we get to wear masks and helmets and stuff. We like running into people.
UFC people too, or the boxers. And
Yeah,
so I put them in the same category of like, all that stuff.
You're
By the
intentionally
way,
hurting yourself.
Yeah, if you don't mind your face being all messed up, you got to be a little psycho for that.
I was watching that
it's
JU
okay.
Florida baseball game Tuesday night, and one JU player got hit like right on his kind of like ear flap or whatever, and immediately they showed his bleeding from the mouth, and I was like, I said out loud, I was like, I really hope he didn't lose a tooth. Come to find out, listening to Chris
Lost
Hayes
a
on the
tooth.
Fringe show yesterday,
Knocked a tooth out. Wow.
knocked a tooth out, but he was able to return to action last night.
That's good. I was watching, when you're talking about hockey, I was watching this clip, and it was of Kachuk, and they were asking him, like, what means more to him, winning the Olympic gold medal or winning a Stanley Cup, like, which was like a bigger moment for him. And so he was going into detail. He's like, obviously they're both incredible. It's like you dream of both of those things, and not many people get both. So, you love that. But he was just talking about the battle. He's like, you go to war for the Stanley Cup. Like it's a lot of hockey. You're out on the ice a lot, like way more than any other sport, like minute wise, what you're playing and what you're physically doing out on the ice. And he's like, by the end of it, you feel like you were like at war. Your body's beat up. You're playing through broken jaws and broken feet and broken all of this stuff. And he's like, you're beat up and you're wounded, but then you get to hold up the Stanley Cup. And he's like, it's one of the best moments that you can ever, like, I feel like possibly have. And then you get that day with the cup in the off season. So it's this whole thing. But it was kind of cool to hear him
81 games for NHL versus like Olympic hockey. It's a few weeks, but it's nothing like that.
And for the padding, their pads are thin. They're not like pads.
Yeah.
Barely any.
Because you have to be able to move around the way they do in those things.
But they're not like, so they're really running into each other basically with nothing, protection.
And
other than their stick at times, which you're not supposed to do anymore. But no, I mean, think about how fast they come in. I mean, that has to be one of the greatest feelings in the world, like just drilling someone into the ice and it breaking and coming down.
Into the glass, yeah.
You hit him so hard that he, can't play anymore for the day. I mean, because you got to be going like 25 miles an hour, 30 miles an hour. Like, that's a collision.
So football's not violent enough for you.
No, it's violent plenty. It's violent. And I do like that they take matters into their own hands.
Yeah.
And there's rules to it. Like when they hit the ice, they stop them. It's like there's like almost like a gentleman's type
agreement
thing. And the other players, they don't get involved. They say, he's got to go. And then when they're done, they tap the ice. Like, way to go. Even if you lose, you're bleeding or whatever. Like, it's okay. You're still fighting. It's great to fight. You fight, your way through this.
I don't know if there's a way to measure adrenaline, right? Like, I don't mean like heart rate, blood pressure. I understand that stuff. But I mean like pure adrenaline. Because I would love to know, like, what's the adrenaline of, a quarterback being besieged and having the pass rush coming at him.
Yeah.
What's the adrenaline of a hockey player that, just
mid-fight?
Or a goalie. Like,
right, absolutely.
I couldn't imagine my heart rate if I was a goalie the whole time.
But yeah, I mean, the guy just hit a grand slam. Like, his adrenaline. Like, I don't know. Like I said, there's a way to measure
closer that you need 2 outs to win the Game 7 of the World Series. Yeah,
like, that's what I've always been amazed at is you bring a relief pitcher on, whether it's a 7th, 8th, or 9th inning guy, the closer, but you bring a relief pitcher on with guys on the bases, not always bases loaded, but he's inheriting those runners. And and they're able to get out of it. And like, to their motion when they're just being able to pitch normally, they don't have to look over at first base or, try and figure out what's going on behind them when they can't see second base. Like, so then you take them out of that normal motion when there's runners on and they don't even get to come in and like pitch without that. Like, that just to me is insane.
Yeah. I'm cleaning up your mess.
Right. And then some of them are such assassins. Like, it doesn't phase them.
Yeah.
Like, they
love that moment.
Yeah.
My brother was a relief pitcher.
Okay.
And he loved it. He was like, he's done all levels. Like, he was a starting pitcher. He's done relief. He's been a closer. And he was like, closer is one of my favorite things to do because you do. And that adrenaline spike of being the guy where it's like up to you a lot of times to win that game. And so he's like, it's one of the best feelings for me walking out on the mound. And I'm like, there's certain people that's where their mentals are. I don't know if I live in that world where I
it's
want
just that slow heart rate,
Yeah.
right? Slow
Yeah.
heartbeat. Yeah, we used to have
That'd be great.
true closers, which is you'd have the starting pitcher pitch until like the 8th inning, and then you'd have the closer come in the 9th.
Yep.
Now you have like the setup guy, so
Yeah.
you've got the 7th inning
right.
guy, the
Yeah.
8th inning guy, and then the closer to come in.
Yeah, it's like 6 bullpen guys sometimes now.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So back to Jaguars football we go. So we were talking about what a successful season looks like in 2026. So what I'm hearing from both of you is make the postseason. Obviously, you'd love to win a game in the postseason,
Yeah.
and you'd love to really win it all. We know that
Yeah.
part. But if they don't win the division but still make it to the postseason, we're going to consider that successful.
Yeah.
Because the
I
Texans
will.
obviously
Yeah, I
last
think
year
so,
didn't
too.
win the division but did win a postseason game.
Yeah, and I especially if it's like that, if it's another season where let's say the Texans win 12 or 13 games, then yes. If it's a season where the winner of the division has 8 or 9 games and the Jags don't have that, then you're probably like something probably didn't go right, for that season. And you're probably not getting it anyways because other teams are going to have 10, 11, 12 wins outside of the division. But I do think that if whoever is winning the division, I'm guessing the only other team you think right now will do that is the Texans. If you have that competition down the stretch like they did this last year where they're both just winning, you're not going to be upset about that at the end. We've joked about it a little bit this offseason. Like, would it have been better to not win the
Yes,
division
is
and
my
like the
answer.
path you had compared to winning? And sometimes you look at it that way. Like, I'm sure the Texans were like, okay, we'll
we'll take the Steelers. Y'all take the Bills.
Yeah, have fun with that. So yeah, I think there's a lot of ways to define a successful season, and to me, I don't know if it directly correlates to the win-loss record. I do think postseason is a part of that because you talk about we always use the Steelers as an example in the sense of just always getting to the postseason, and Steelers fans got upset with Tomlin because it had been a long time since they won it all. But you want to get to the point where the standard, the expectation is you're making the postseason.
Right.
You don't want that to keep coming in question every year. Like if we make the postseason, no. If you're a contender, you're talking about making it every year.
That's right.
Is the AFC Championship game, is that to make it to that? Is that too high of a bar for this team? Like to expect that for the season?
Today, say it today, I think so, because we just don't know what they're adding. I'd like to see their draft and see if they add anybody else and how they look going in. But listen, I'm just of the thinking, just get in. Like if you're 9-8 and you're in, it's okay, and then
Just be one of the 7.
I don't want you to be one and done, and then because then it won't be the same. Like you definitely were not as good as you were the year before, and that's fair to say. But at the same time, I know it's hard to, I mean, we went from so the first year we were 4-12, then we went 9-7, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then we went 11-5, 11-5, 14-2. It's really, it's hard to do all that. But again, it's the mentality, and you hear it in Liam, his voice. He's got the same mentality. You just got to start over. Got to make him earn it over again. And look, if winning the division, you always want to win it. But I tell you what, next 2 years, let's play the vagabonds. We don't have a home.
That's our
We're
chip
on
on
the
our shoulder.
road.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We don't need no home. We're just going to come to your home and make it our home. You know what I mean? And just ride that wave of we're these renegades. We're just a bunch of renegades playing football. We're going to come and take your home.
We're going to print.
And your women too.
We're going to print the T-shirts.
Yeah, right.
At that point, the Jaguars would really become almost like the Pirates, right? Like that's what when you talk about that,
just vagabonds, man.
Right.
They're going to
Pirates are going to come in and pilfer and plunder and do all that
Wherever
stuff.
I may roam by Metallica, right?
Yeah.
I'm going. It doesn't matter wherever I go.
And that will be the song that RJ plays in our
I think
next
it might be.
segment.
He's a good
I
one.
see those wheels are turning.
That's right.
So
That's
if the
right.
Jaguars make the postseason, whether they win the AFC South or not, they make the postseason and they lose again in the wild card game, let's say. What then moving forward into 2027 when they will play in Orlando is the narrative at that point in time? Like Liam's teams are good but not great?
I think it depends how you lose. If you lose another one...
I mean, this was a close loss.
This was a close loss. It was against a good Bills team and Josh Allen. And, we talked so much about, okay, this is the year because of the path, because no Mahomes and no Lamar, like those guys that you constantly talk about, Burrow. And then you have Josh Allen in round 1, the other guy of those top tier guys. And so, granted, he was beat up and all of those things, but he was playing out of his mind. That's what he does. Every time the Jags would score, they'd go right down the field and score again. So I feel like if you have a close competitive game, and I think most people right now having the conversation about that game is saying, 2 plays change and you win. And that's how it felt that game was going. If it's another game like that, I think you're still having the mindset of, okay, this team's really good and it's coming. It's on the verge.
We
if you
did
get
that, by the way, Taylor. We did that with the Bengals loss and the Texans loss. It was, well, if just a few more plays had been made, if that pass interference wasn't called on Travis Hunter and the Bengals lost, and then in the Texans, if
a field goal, make a field goal, like those things. So those things, go for a field goal and make the field goal. You win the game hypothetically. Who knows? Because Josh Allen could have scored, drove him down, and they score again. But I do think that if you get blown out and it's embarrassing and like things fall apart and Trevor regresses and in the playoffs again, then that is going to be the mindset of like, why can this team be good in the regular season and why can't Trevor lead the team the way he does, the way it is in the postseason? Now that's all hypothetical because we don't know what the game will look like, but I think there are two tales. I think you can lose and still think it was a good, successful season and the team was really good and like the horizon still seems bright and sunny. And I think there's also a path where you're kind of like, what does this look like for the future? Is this going to be the future of this team? I mean, Josh Allen and the Bills have been going through that. Like they keep losing in the playoffs and they haven't been able to get there either. How long do those conversations go is I think what kind of leads to that path.
Yeah, and that's what got McDermott let go.
Yeah.
Like you can get us there, but you can't win.
Yeah.
And at the end, that's the name of the game. How many championships? I thought it was crazy they fired him. I'm like, look at his record.
Yeah.
Like, we take that in a heartbeat. If Liam did that for 7 years, we'd be like, heck yeah, where do we sign up?
And Josh Allen had a broken foot to end the season and in the postseason.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it's it all depends how the season goes. You know, health is a big part of it. You know, do they get on a run or do they limp in? You know, it all depends. All I'm saying is if they get to the playoffs, let's just say they get, regardless of what happens, it's still a successful year, although not as good as the year before. So I'm not going to say it's disappointing. They still made the playoffs.
Yeah.
And that's the goal. I got to make the playoffs, and then I got to figure it out from there. So if you make the playoffs back-to-back, regardless of how you do, to me, just my opinion, that's a successful year.
How did y'all discuss it in the locker room, you know, in the offseason, let's say after the first 11-win season? Was it, let's just make the postseason this year, or was it?
It was always win the division.
Okay.
That was always the goal. We won it in 98 for the first time and then 99 again. Pittsburgh won it the other years, I believe. So that was just always the goal. But, you know, I don't, you know, football, like these guys this year, they believed, like even that second year, like when we got into the playoffs, man, we're like, I remember when like Morton Anderson misses a kick, everyone's going crazy. We get into the locker room. The first thing Tom Coughlin says, hey, man, we're in it to win it. And we were all like, yeah, you know what I mean? Because you're like, of course we are. Well, okay, this is great, but we're in it to win it. That was the first thing he said. And whether we, you know, really believed it at that time, maybe not. But as we got going towards Buffalo, beat Buffalo, then you know, you just get on that feeling like, we can play anybody right now because we're playing good football. We're playing sound, technical, vicious. You know, not turning the ball over, that kind of.
Yeah, it's like a team not hanging a Final Four banner. Like, we're only hanging a banner if we win the
everything, all of it. Yeah,
which UConn's Dan Hurley said, like, we don't hang Final Four banners. Yeah, I understand that sentiment.
By the way, total sidebar, can I?
Yeah.
New Boston College basketball coach came from Hurley. It's Bill Murray's brother, the actor's brother.
Nice. Really?
He's been with Hurley for years. BC's like really jacked. I'm like, I just read it today. I'm like, oh wow,
the Hurley tree.
Yeah, the Hurley tree up to Boston College. How about that?
Nice. Yeah. I wanted to read this one off the text line, and so obviously feel free to text us in at 641-1010 if you have anything to chime in on this conversation. But someone said they need to have the Pat Riley mindset. Obviously, longtime coach for the Lakers. There's winning and there's misery. Can't be satisfied with just making the playoffs. So there's going to be people who have that mindset. Like, you've done it now. At this point you've made the playoffs. The next step is beyond that.
Yeah, if people want to chime in, like you said.
And that's fair, but I would say after 2 years, then for sure.
Yeah.
Like, if you get there 2 years in a row and you bow out, first round, like if they bow out the first round, you're just going to be like, all right, well, that's not good enough anymore. You know, we need more than that. And Liam's sitting there going, screw you guys. It's really hard to win.
That's the thing.
We've done this? Not much.
That's why you almost wonder, Liam would never think this way, but you wonder if there's certain people within the franchise that are like, they set the bar too high in year one. Like, our conversations right now should be, let's just have a winning season, right? Like they should have won maybe 8 games last year. Then you go 8-9. Okay, that shows progress. Trevor played better. Right. Now let's try and get to double-digit wins.
Step.
Let's win the division, right? They did all that in year 1.
You won 14, but you didn't have the playoff win, and so I do think that's the one.
You won 13 because you didn't win that one. Exactly. All right, more to do on the other side, including Tom's take. Don't go anywhere. Helmets and Heels, 1010XL, 92.5 FM.
Streaming live from the XL Digital Studios. Polished by Harbor Dental Care, the locally owned smile restoration experts.
Helmets and Heels Friday
is brightened by Bowden Iron Associates.
Jumbo Shrimp Baseball is home this weekend at ViStar Ballpark. Join us tonight for fireworks and tomorrow at 6:35 for more fireworks and free Southpaw onesies to the first 2,000 fans through the main gate, courtesy of Miller Electric and Hyatt Regency Jacksonville Riverfront. Catch on the field and free face painting before the game on Baptist Health Sunday Family Fun Day at 2:05. Tickets start at just $5.
Ever have one of those mornings when you're trying to piece together the night before? Yeah, we've all been there. Now imagine that morning turned into a comedy. Morning After Grace is on stage starting April 9th at the Alhambra Theater and Dining. And it's smart, funny, and totally relatable. A night out that's equal parts laughs and insight. Get your tickets at alhambrajax.com. Alhambra Theater and Dining. Great food, great laughs, and a show you won't forget.
Hey guys, Coach Campo here. We just left Tony D's Pizza, Bay Meadows and 295. My wife is still raving about the eggplant parmesan. At Tony D's, it's more than just pizza. I'll see you there.
After attending a Saturday Bumps and Bruises clinic by Southeast orthopedic specialist, my son's hip and shoulder issues were diagnosed quickly, and he's back playing. As a busy family, we really appreciate their prompt attention.
I've been having knee problems for probably 6 months, and I had heard about Southeast Orthopedics on the radio, and I gave them a call. They got me right in. Dr. Kevin Murphy did it. It was painless, and it's been doing fantastic.
Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
The Clay County Fair turns 40 this year. 4 decades of crazy rides, live music, great food, and Team 1010XL's food eating contest. It's your main man, E.T., and I'll be looking for you April 2nd through the 12th. Learn more at claycountyfair.org.
When your home or business deserves more than ordinary glass, you trust the experts. Capital Glass and Shower Doors has been elevating spaces for over 40 years with precision, craftsmanship, and clean, modern design. From sleek frameless shower enclosures to elegant glass railings, wine cabinets, and any custom glass that makes a statement, Capital Glass delivers unmatched quality, service, and attention to detail. Your vision, their expertise. Capital Glass and Shower Doors at capcoglass.com.
If you're the one that takes control, keeps projects on track, and gets the job done right, Purple Heart Pools wants to talk to you. We're hiring project managers to lead pool builds and renovations across Jacksonville. This isn't just a job. It's a leadership role in a company built on accountability, communication, and precision. If you know how to manage crews, timelines, and deliver results, there's a spot for you here. Step up, take ownership, lead from the front. Purple Heart Pools, now hiring project managers. Apply online today.
Equal opportunity employer.
I used to dread going to the dentist. Every visit felt like a sales pitch with constant upselling, surprise fees on my bill, and I could never get in when I needed to. But Harbor Dental Care, totally different. They saw me the next day, gave me honest pricing up front, and even set me up with a payment plan I could actually afford. No pressure, no surprise charges, just kind people who get it. If you want to experience dentistry the way it should be, book your appointment today at harbordental.care. That's HARBOUR dental.care.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Still, present, ready. Farah doesn't flinch.
I knew Metallica was coming.
Good job there, RJ.
That's right. Now, the Dad Buzz does not do this song.
No, we don't.
But shameless plug time.
Shameless. Tomorrow night, 8 o'clock, we'll be at the local in Neptune Beach till about 11. And we're ready to rock. You know, we had a great outing last time. We had a great rehearsal the other night. We added Tush by ZZ Top, which is fun to sing.
Mm-hmm.
And, yeah, should be a great time. Great time. We always get a great crowd out there. So,
well, you guys do a fantastic job.
Well, thank you.
Last time you performed the day of the river run, and my legs did not. Did not make it out.
Yeah,
after.
the band is. I got to give the band a lot of credit. They're really tight. They're really, really the drummer and the all of them. But our drummer
don't single
and our
one
lead,
out.
and our lead guy, they can really wail on it. So it's fun.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So
thanks for
tomorrow
the
night
plug.
the local. Yeah, of course. And before we get to Tom's take, we've got some tickets to give away.
Yes, we do. Courtesy of the Check on Your Mother organization, we have 2 tickets to give away to the Iceman game tomorrow night or tonight.
It's tonight, yeah.
It's tonight.
Yeah.
It's
Check
tonight.
on your
My
mom.
bad.
It's the Florida Everblades, the hated Florida Everblades.
That's right.
There you go.
Check on Your Mom is the organization. It's an endometrial cancer awareness group. So
Yes.
we appreciate that. So if you want to go to
Absolutely.
the Iceman and I think even sit in the club.
Yeah,
section.
they're great seats,
Yeah.
section 112. So there you go. You'll be
Yep.
right in the thick of it. What number shall we pick? What do you guys think? What do you guys pick?
Let's say 4.
All right, caller
Caller
number
number
4,
four.
641-1010, 904-641-1010. I forget. Sometimes I need to add the 904 because not everybody is from here, and we now
Oh,
have 2
right.
different area codes.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. What is the other one? I don't even know it.
I don't know it either.
I forget. And I literally looked at it up a couple weeks ago, and I
Really?
totally
Okay.
forgot. I don't remember, but it's
Yeah.
weird.
Well, we're growing.
That's
We are
Growing
right.
City.
Yeah, they
What are
ran
you
out
gonna
of
do? You
phone
need another-
numbers, so that's something.
324 is the new one.
324.
Yep. So
Welcome
there you
to
have it.
324.
At least it's got a
Sounds-
4 in it.
Yeah,
That's
that's
for sure.
true.
Yeah.
That's true.
All right, time now for Tommy's take.
Now, Tommy's Takes. Protected by Morgan & Morgan. ForThePeople.com. Or dial #law. That's all.
All right, my takeaway for today and this beautiful Friday is, man, we've had an unbelievable week of news for our Jags. Like, you're going to play in Orlando in 27. Anton gets the 5th-year option. Cole Van Lannon with the knee situation. Just
Yeah, that one's not great, but I know what you mean.
but just as far as a bunch of news coming out, but we haven't talked Final Four at all. And I'm looking at my notes, and I'm like, holy cow! Like Illinois and UConn and the Arizona, Michigan. I mean, these 2 games are going to be insane. I hope I can stay awake. Actually, we'll be playing during one
I
of
was
them.
going to say, I think you'll be awake.
Hopefully you're
They'll
awake.
have it on. Yeah,
I think you'll be awake.
I better be awake. But man, what a great Final Four!
Yeah, it's
I mean,
great.
really, it's like those. That's it. I know. LB's like, no, it's not. No, it's not. But listen,
yeah. I
like-
can't believe it's been a year since the Florida run to the national title.
Yeah.
Like, that is insane to me that it's been a
No
full year
doubt.
since then.
Yeah.
I can vividly tell you every moment I feel like of that run. But yes, you're right. It's
Yeah.
going to be a fun final
Well, at
four.
least you can hang your hat on that. You guys are the defending champs,
Sure.
or reigning champs,
Yeah.
until a new champ.
And
Until
Patrick
Monday.
Young joined. That's right. Patrick
Yeah.
Young joined the
They're all
drill
coming
this
back.
morning, and I don't know for sure, but he
Yeah.
went to
They
Gainesville
should.
last night for the Gator baseball game, which
Yeah.
Florida lost 6-4 to Ole Miss. But that's not the important part. The important part is that Patrick was hanging out with Scott Strickland, the athletic director, and then Duke Warner, who's the head athletic trainer. His title is fancier than that, but that's the easiest way to put it. And Duke said he thinks maybe all 3 could come back, in Ruben Chinyelu, Alex Condon, and Tommy Houck.
That'd
and
be great.
I would not be shocked. I'll be a little surprised of how it comes back, but I
Yeah.
wouldn't be shocked in this sense. You earn money now, that's
$5
well
million each.
documented, a few million for each one. Plus, there's nothing like college. Like, you have the rest of your life to be an adult. You have the rest of your life to go chase an NBA championship if you make it to that point in time, right? Like, that doesn't expire. What expires is living in a college town with your best friends and having the time of your life, working out, maybe going to class, who knows on that part. But that brotherhood, that togetherness, that camaraderie, and being the kings of campus, like, you'll never get that back for the rest of your lives. So that's why I won't be shocked if they decide to come back.
Yeah, I mean, unless you're you feel like your game's gonna right away be a star player, you go back.
Which Condon and Chinyelu, their games do not translate to today's NBA. Chinyelu years ago would have.
Projected, like, I've seen him going as high as like 12th.
Yeah.
And so that would be, I feel like, honestly, it'd be a little silly for him to go back. I think you enter the draft with where you're projected to be drafted in the NBA draft, because you can't promise that looks like that next year. You don't know what the season looks like, God forbid an injury or something like that. So if you're set up for being picked in the top 17 in the first round of the NBA draft, I think you go.
Yeah, Yeah, I mean, just it's that once in a lifetime opportunity. Now he could be get a better standing.
Yeah.
It comes down
And
to
you don't know what
Johnny.
his agent's hearing.
You say $2-3 million. I think Conan was getting like $2-3 million this year. I'm thinking up it to $5, man. Get your
like I'll
agent
stay if you
rocking.
pay me more.
Yeah, you want me to stay? It's double, man. We're going for a title.
Yeah,
best friends, camaraderie, and all that stuff. But I want some money.
Apparently, Condon was paid more than DJ Lagway, which is kind of crazy in the sense that you have a star quarterback that was driving around what did we say, a Lamborghini and a Mercedes. Like, that's a little crazy. But look, I think Todd Golden will do what's best for the program, obviously. So if he loses some of these guys, he'll be able to try and replace. He will look to try and replace that type of production, which is exactly what, like to your point, to start your take, Tom. As far as that's what the Jaguars are doing. They've lost some guys. They're looking to replace that production. But so I have full faith in what Todd Golden is building at Florida and all that stuff. But
he did it this year. He had to replace Walter Clayton somehow, or at least as close as possible.
And I think that's why Florida's not playing in the Final Four and in the national championship, is he wasn't able to replace that clutch gene, that clutch shooter.
Yeah.
And now he knows, and now he knows what exactly the DNA of a team in order to make it back to the Final Four is. And so, if they all come back and go win the national championship again, I think that would be incredibly special. But I'm not thinking that's going to happen.
You got to have that inside out. I mean, if the bigs match up with you, your guards got to step up and nail shots for you. They just have to.
You need guards with experience who talk about the slow heartbeat earlier in the show, like the guards that nothing phases them. Even if they are down a little bit, they can make that run. They're not afraid to shoot. They're not afraid to create their shot. Like, those are all the things that, and it's not just Clayton, obviously.
That's all you need.
Just a full all-around game.
And he had 3 of those guards last year. Obviously, Clayton was the best of them. But Elijah Martin and Will Richard, if Clayton was on the bench, they could do it all too. And so, that's going to be interesting to see what happens moving forward. We'll certainly keep everyone up to date of that. More to do on the other side. You are listening to Helmets and Heels on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
It's the power of the spoken word and your imagination.
Daniel Murphy waits on the 0-1, and there's a drive. Deep right field. That ball's gone.
1010XL, your radio home for play-by-play.
Daniel Murphy.
At G&H Tires and Service, the G stands for great pricing. The H, well, that means honest service. For over 20 years, Roger and his team have helped Jacksonville drivers stay safe on the road. Need brakes, oil change, AC not blowing cold? Well, how about a super affordable $36 oil change? Affordable brake jobs, AC checks before summer hits, alignments for all these construction roads, and even free check engine light inspections. Locally owned, community driven. G&H Tires and Service on Beach Boulevard.
Bowden Iron Associates.
Helmets and Heels Friday.
Divorce, menonly.com. This is Kenny Lay of Kenny Lay & Associates. Our firm specializes in representing men in family law. That's all we do. That's our only focus. We can help with all of your family law needs, such as divorce, custody, alimony, and child support. For over a decade, we have helped thousands of men with these types of issues. We even have an appellate division ready to challenge a judge's ruling. If you need a family law attorney, go to divorcemenonly.com. DivorceMenOnly.com. Offices, Jacksonville.
Hey, David again with Royal Pest Services. Termites, chinch bugs, roaches. It's their time of year to shine. Preventative maintenance is a heck of a lot cheaper than treating an active infestation. Visit RoyalPestServices.com to schedule your free estimate.
Attention men and women. If you'd like to get your hair back, then you need to listen to some of our clients. John in Orange Park.
IHRS showed me what was causing my hair loss and helped stop it.
Call IHRS now at 904-777-IHRS. Find out how to grow your hair back with a free hair and scalp examination. Diane from Ponte Vedra.
Now I have what lotions couldn't give me. Thick, beautiful hair.
Hurry and receive a free hair and scalp examination and get 2 weeks of laser treatments for free. Call IHRS at 904-777-4477. Hairforme.com.
Hi, this is Dr. George Bari, an orthopedic surgeon who is fellowship trained in sports medicine. If you are a young athlete or a weekend warrior, I treat you with the care and expertise that is needed to diagnose and treat your injury. Come see me at Bari Orthopedics to get the care that you need.
Be sure and check out the expertise from Dr. George Bari and the entire staff at BariOrthopedics.com. That's BAHRI Orthopedics.com. And follow Doc on Instagram at Dr.GeorgeBari.
Credit card interest rates are now over 29%. Most people are only making the minimum payments, so they're getting nowhere. Hey, Prosser here, but here's what many homeowners don't realize. Using the equity in your home, you can easily access hundreds of thousands in cash. With Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan, you can pay off your credit card, your existing HELOC, your car loans, or get money for that home improvement project. One client just got $100,000 approved and saved over $1,500 a month. Here's the best part. With Loan Pronto, you can do it all from your phone. With zero out-of-pocket, no hard credit pull up front, no appraisal, no long drawn-out bank process, and no touching your first mortgage. Rates are at a near 3-year low. Act now. Go to loanpronto.com. See how much you can get in about 60 seconds. Loan Pronto, 2,800 5-star Google reviews. Call 904-999-1508 or go to loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
Looking for golf that doesn't feel like golf? Welcome to Pine Royale, Callahan's new golf entertainment destination. Play a 9-hole par 3 course, compete in TrackMan-powered driving bays, and get ready for all-new 18-hole mini golf coming soon. As the sun goes down, the course lights up. Add in great food, a full bar, and space to hang with the whole crew, and suddenly golf feels a whole lot more social. Search Pine Royale Callahan and come play today.
Mark Watson with Hardball Creative, here to share with you an actual client review.
Dude, these shirts are sick.
Check out the shirts and other sick promo items at hardballcreative.com.
Hardball Creative. Hardball does it all.
1010XL, presented by Farrah and Farrah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farrah doesn't flinch.
We've got some Jaguars off-season dates that we want to keep everyone up to date about. The Jaguars off-season will start April 20th, that is 4/20. And then OTAs May 26th, May 28th through the 29th, and then June 1st through 2nd, June 4th, and then June 15th through the 17th. Mandatory minicamp will be June 9th through the 11th. So everybody put that on your calendars. Yep. And get excited to see
football's almost back.
It's back. It's amazing. It's just
part
year
where
round.
it's right. We get so excited for the first few workouts, obviously. And then once you've been to many training camps, you're like second day of OTAs, you're like, okay.
Yeah.
And then before training camp, before they get in the pads, you're all excited. And then it's like, all right, can you get in the pads by now? And then the first day of pads, it's like, yes. And then a few days later, you're like, can we get to a preseason game?
Yeah.
Can we get past the preseason games? Can we just get to a regular season game?
The key for me is when you show up at practice. Like, if you can sit there for an hour and they're stretching and warming up and catching balls and running routes on air, and they're not competing at all. And then when you get there at the right time, they start competing. You're like, all right, this is a good time to get into it, you know?
Absolutely.
So I like, you learn.
You and I usually show up around the same time.
Yeah. You know, and look, you want to be seen. I get that. Like, that's part of it. You know,
being seen.
I think the media does. Yeah, they want people in the media to know that. Yeah, hey, I'm here too. You know, I'm watching practice. I'm out here. They want the team to see him. It's okay. It's part of the gig. I always thought like it's not a bad thing. It's like it's part. Not like a social event. I didn't mean it like that, but you know that you're being. You know, if you're out there reporting on them, you can say, "Yeah, I go to the practices."
Oh, I know what you mean.
Not that you have to go to them all to see everything, but you know, I think that's part of it. And it's fun to see people you might not see the rest of the year.
Oh yeah, that part is cool. I just meant, there are some people I suppose that are there that are dressed a certain way and they want pictures taken of them, and that's always interesting to me. I'm like, I'm not here for that. I'm here for watching football.
Yeah, usually I'm sweating, so I don't want pictures taken of me.
A lot of people rely on the quotes too, you know, so you got to build that rapport with. That's okay. That's part of the gig too. If you go that route, you know, you got to be there, and players got to see you. Yeah, you know, just make everything all copacetic.
Yeah. It's fun to me at training camp being able. Those press conferences are a lot smaller than other ones throughout the season. And so it is cool to be able to talk to the guys, especially too if you talk to them a little bit before the press conference or a little bit after. Like last year, Trevor came away from the podium, and that was right after someone had given him that bath mat that was like
of him.
Of him. And so I was like, Trevor, where's the bath mat? And he's like, the what? And I was like, the bath mat that, you know, is an image of you. And he was like, oh, it's at my locker. And I was like, that's a good place for it. I just wasn't sure if you brought it home.
In your home.
Like Shay's crawling
it's like your
around
first
on
doormat. You when you open, it's your
Yeah, he was like,
I like it at the locker. That's a good spot.
Yeah, I thought it was.
Yeah, Marissa was probably like, keep that at the locker.
Don't bring that home.
I've never had a bath mat with an image of myself, so I don't know.
It was cool, though. Whoever made that, it was very
really
neat.
cool. Yeah, so great job. Matt Hayes, by the way, is up in Michigan right now and working on some stuff for USA Today Sports, and he tweeted this out. I thought this was really interesting. He said, multiple coaches told him this offseason that Indiana football, not basketball, Indiana football found the plan. Build with age and playing experience. And so a guy named David Abluff, he broke it down. And so Indiana's offense had played 515 games with 358 starts. Their defense had played 439 games, 263 starts.
Prior to getting to Indiana.
I think that was just
Like
their
their
total
career.
experience in their career.
Okay.
Yeah. So a lot of those guys, of course, transferred from James Madison, where Kurt Cignetti was before. And obviously, Kurt Cignetti is a huge piece of them winning the national championship and being successful since he's been there. But that is so much experience.
Yeah, that's a lot.
That when you get to the postseason, obviously that helps too.
Yeah, and I think, we've talked so much when we go through and you compare rosters, and obviously Miami's done a good job of the portal and recruiting, so they have this balance of both sides. I just saw they got a quarterback recruit today, but they've kind of leaned into the last few years now with this one of getting that veteran quarterback that has experience in the portal, and then when it comes to like the trenches, kind of recruiting and building the trenches through that. And that's been their recipe. But Indiana, I think, has shown people like you don't have to do that. You don't have to recruit all these 5-star players to win the national championship. You can get some guys, in the portal and build a team that way. And maybe you're doing, but every team's building now almost every single year. And so that was probably looked down upon in a sense before, because it was like, well, then every year you're having to build this whole new roster, but now everyone's having to do that anyway. So what does it hurt if you're getting these guys who have a lot of playing experience? And so, yeah, they've kind of like formed this other little recipe. So it'll be interesting where they go. First of all, do they start, because they're going to get more recruits. You just won the national championship, so obviously you'll be able to recruit a little better than you probably had previously, and people love Cignetti, and so people are going to want to go play for him. But how much do they still lean into that portal side of things? Do other teams start doing that a little bit more? Ohio State, we've seen them dip into the portal quite a bit for at least like pass catchers and some of those like star guys. How teams start building this is going to be interesting as we go through these next like 5-6 years of changes. And we have a lot of guys now in college football for 6 years. So you do have the opportunity to get guys on your team that have been playing for 5 and 6 years. And that wasn't as popular before, obviously.
And that you're plucking talent off of other people's rosters.
And that costs money. Think of it like NFL free agency. Yeah. Right? Like the more you spend, or the more you delve into the transfer portal, the more you're probably spending.
I remember Zay Flowers was offered like $800,000 and leave Boston College. He said, no, I'm not leaving.
Yeah.
Now he got a car and he got stuff there, but they literally like calling him, like just call the agent or call you and get your info and say, hey, I want to make you this offer. Think of how much study of tape and game watching your people have to, not just your opponents, like everybody. Like you find Ferris State, and I'm sure someone said, hey, you got to check this kid out at Ferris State, right? You got people like that. But you got to find these gems. Look, I was reading where like Mendoza, when he was at Cal, he went from Cal to Indiana, right? He had like a lot of turnovers, and production-wise, wasn't like, where you're like, oh, yeah, but they found something. That's like finding a gem almost, right? I think he turned the ball over like 16 times that his last year at Cal, or maybe collectively, however long he was there. But to find that gem and say, no, that kid, he's going to run my offense and he can bring us to an elite level. That's some serious, evaluating talent, like to find those kind of people to build your team.
Yeah.
You think it's just, here's the money. So like, no, I got to find the right guys that are ready to take on this big role with my program. That's to be a starter and a leader. And I'm counting on your experience as a backup and maybe a part-time starter or a starter.
Yeah.
You're going to bring it to my program.
Well, I remember. Oh, sorry.
I was just going to say he had 10 interceptions in 2023. That was his first season at Cal. I don't have his fumbles in front of me.
Okay.
But I'm guessing between
like total turnovers.
Yeah,
okay, so maybe it was total.
But yeah, Taylor, his trajectory: 14 touchdowns, 10 interceptions in 2023. The next season, 2024, 16 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. That's better. This year, 41 touchdowns, 6 interceptions.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
That's insane.
So,
That's what I'm saying. Like, they saw something out of him.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I think that, I mean, Nick Saban said it, I remember on one of the college game days, and he said, you know, talking about paying players, he's like, but you have to pay the right players. You know,
That's right.
we've seen the situations where you pay a guy and it doesn't work, so you have to still, you don't just say, oh, they spent this much money and all of a sudden it's a good roster. It doesn't work that way either. And to your point, Lauren, when you're talking about paying the portal guys, I feel like some people might be more comfortable paying a portal guy that they've seen play college football than risking paying $6 million to a kid coming out of high school that you really don't know what they're going to do at the next level. And so
if
some
you have
may
to
be
pay
more
the
comfortable.
recruits that much,
Yes.
that's where I feel like the recruits probably take, other than maybe some of the quarterbacks or stud positions,
wide
but
receivers or something
yeah,
like
for
that.
the most part, I feel like the recruits are less expensive than those guys out of the portal.
So the Ty Simpsons of the world are over sticking with one school. Like, think about that. Like, how many kids down the road are going to start at one school and stay?
Well, that's why
entire
we
time?
praised Carson Beck for so long, because Carson Beck, you know, sat
Waited.
behind
Yeah.
multiple quarterbacks at Georgia, and then eventually ended up leaving. But still, like before the injury, he was a Georgia quarterback through and through, which that part was cool. But yeah, so many guys, like we do our draft prep,
Who's his
right?
alma mater?
Georgia.
Really?
I mean, I would assume he was there for like 5 years. I would assume that he got a degree from Georgia.
Okay.
Like I'm guessing he graduated from Georgia,
Yeah.
and then I don't think he got a master's from Miami based off of the fact that he said he hasn't
He said he
been
didn't
to
go to class. So.
Right, exactly. Yeah, doing the draft prep, we literally are like, all right, they went to 4 different schools, and
I wonder what he'd say his school is, though. Like, who's your school?
yeah,
Would
if
he
you
say
asked
Miami?
him
Would he
today,
say
he would say
Georgia?
Miami.
Yeah,
because
he's
he
about
made
to be drafted as a Cane. So I
and
think
he
that
made
would
it to the national championship with Miami.
Yeah.
And didn't do that with Georgia. All right, Lauren's laying on the other side. You are listening to Helmets and Heels on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
It began with a dream.
Got my first job when I was 11. Worked every day since.
And turned into 1010XL.
Isn't that what the American dream's all about?
Not everyone is built for a cubicle. At Local 234, apprentices get paid to learn hands-on skills like plumbing, pipe fitting, HVAC, the stuff Jacksonville runs on. No endless lectures, no massive student debt, just hands-on training, real jobs, and real pay. This is how you level up, by doing work that actually matters. Check them out at UA234.com. Proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Local 234. Make the right connection.
It's a Helmets and Heels Friday, checked by Bowden Iron Associates.
The Jacksonville Icemen are in town for 3 games, starting Thursday for $3 beer and wine night, plus Paint the Ice. Be part of Paint the Ice post-game and honor a loved one in a powerful way. Your $5 donation helps support cancer-related organizations right here in our community. Then join us again on Friday and Saturday as the Icemen continue to freeze the Florida Everblades. All games start at 7 p.m. Tickets available on Ticketmaster or by visiting jacksiceman.com.
Iceman hockey is #Sub-Zero.
Former Gator Patrick Young pours out orange and blue passion with Hacker on the Gator Bites podcast.
Patrick Young, coming to life.
Tipped off by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists. Fridays on the video and social channels of 1010XL.
Want your son or daughter to enjoy sports year-round? Then log on to i9sports.com with summer and fall registration open right now, including girls volleyball at UNF and Bishop Snyder this summer, plus plenty of other sports on the First Coast. i9sports.com, enter 1010 in the promo code for a discount.
The flagship station of the Jacksonville Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
I'm here with Clayton Bromberg of Underwood Jewelers. Clayton, you have told us about buying better quality diamonds, but is there any way to start with a smaller diamond and use it to trade up to a larger diamond later on?
Frank, it's interesting you'd ask that because our founder, H.F. Underwood, popularized growing your diamond here in Jacksonville about 50 years ago, and it's something we still do today. When a customer buys an Underwood engagement ring or solitaire diamond pendant or a pair of ear studs, we guarantee they get the price they paid for it on the purchase of any larger diamond. Now, a lot of stores would say, big deal. We do that too, but here's the Underwood difference. We guarantee you get what you paid when you trade in your Underwood diamond, even if you're trading up by only $1. It's not that you have to trade up 2 for 1 like most jewelers ask. There have been literally thousands of people in the Jacksonville area who have taken advantage of our policy, and Underwood still grows a lot of diamonds for a lot of people.
Underwood, serving excellence since 1928. In San Marco, Avondale, and the shops of Ponte Vedra.
Get ready for spring turkey season at Green Acres Sporting Goods. Find shotguns trusted in the field from Browning, Beretta, and Benelli. Plus, the newest bows are ready to test shoot from Hoyt and Matthews. For over 55 years, Green Acres Sporting Goods has helped Northeast Florida hunters gear up with confidence. Stop by Green Acres today at the corner of Normandy and Hammond Boulevard or shop online anytime at greenacresporting.com.
Jacksonville, get ready. April 6th, the Florida Theater presents Leonid and Friends. This 11-piece band brings the sound of Chicago to life. Horns, vocals, all the energy. Hear favorites from Chicago, Earth, Wind and Fire, Stevie Wonder, and more. One night only, April 6th. Get your tickets now at floridatheater.com.
Do you remember? Are you looking for a place to outfit your truck or van? It's Catlin Truck Accessories. For 105 years and 4 generations, Catlin is the name you can count on. This is Keith Catlin, and we know trucks and vans too, from Lear toppers, ladder racks, van shelving, strobe lighting, roll and lock bed covers, and everything in between. If you want quality products and great customer service, there's only one name. It's Catlin.
Who can you count on? Count on Catlin.
For 105 years, you can count on Catlin.
Tired of changing out bad sod year after year? Get it done right with Roundtree Sod. Big or small, they have it, and always supplied farm fresh. For a lush, legendary green lawn, call 7414 Sod for a free estimate. 7414-SOD.
Max Fink with your 1010XL Southeast Orthopedic Specialist local sports update brought to you by Coen Flowers. The Gators dropped their first game of the series last night against Ole Miss 6-4. They're back at it tonight for Game 2 at 6:30, and will wrap up the series Saturday evening at 7:30. Listen to both games live on 1010 AM as well as in the 1010XL app. It's 80 degrees at 3:04. Time and temp brought to you by Bueller Air and Plumbing. Stay cooler with Bueller.
XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Focused, fueled, fearless, Farah.
If you could be just any something, you could be my savior. Promise for my innocence that you would fight for me.
Taylor Dahl, Atomic Menace, RJ Saunders. I'm Lauren Brooks with you. Time now for Lauren's Lane.
Now, Lauren's Lane. Opened up by Closets by Design. Imagine your home totally organized.
So hardball wasn't great to me last night. Like I said, the Jumbo Shrimp lost 3-2. Florida lost 6-4. But that's all right because they're back at it tonight. And like Max said, you can hear the Florida Ole Miss series on 1010 AM and the stream. Pregame coverage this evening begins at 6:25 tomorrow night. 7:25. UNF lost 7-3 to Queens at home. That first pitch tonight back at Harmon Stadium is 6:05. JU at least did win. They won 5-1 over Stetson, and the first pitch at John Sessions Stadium is at 7 p.m. But the much more important update, more than hardball, is gymnastics.
Oh, yeah.
So the regional final began, this week. I thought the very first meet was Saturday night at 10 p.m. So I've had that circled on my calendar. 10 p.m. Eastern is a little late, but whatever. I'll figure it out. It was last night.
Oh, no.
So I wake up to all these tweets about Florida gymnastics. I'm like, no, it must have been a recap. It's not until Saturday night. Nope.
No, you missed
it. It was last night. I did miss it. Thankfully, with technology, you can easily go back and watch. But I wanted to give Sky Blakely a shout out because she got a perfect 10 on bars. That is her first perfect 10 on bars, which is very exciting.
Wow.
And if y'all have been paying attention, not the two of you, but people out there, what's the one exercise or apparatus that Florida has struggled with? It's in the vault. Yes, we don't do pommel in women's gymnastics. But
I meant the vault.
You meant the vault. I knew what you meant. And I knew you were paying attention. So Florida ended up with a season high on vault last night, 49.6, which is really good. So total score 198.175. And that means that Florida will take on Michigan State, Georgia, and Cal in the NCAA Regional on Saturday at 8 Eastern. So at least it's not 10 p.m. Eastern. It's 8 p.m. Eastern there on Saturday night. As far as the other teams, because I know at this point y'all are wondering, well, what's going on with the two teams that are ranked ahead of Florida in LSU and Oklahoma?
Yeah,
I'm so glad you asked.
Please.
I'm so glad you asked. So LSU has already advanced, like Florida has advanced to the regional final. LSU will take on Clemson, Michigan, and Stanford. And it's not fair because that one's in Baton Rouge. So obviously home cooking
Home
there
cooking
for
there,
LSU.
yeah, for sure.
And then I already told you who's in, and the reason these are so late is Florida's in Tempe, Arizona. That's why it's late Eastern. But then the other ones that are competing today, Lexington and Corvallis. So they haven't started yet. So Oklahoma is amongst the teams that will compete today. I could give you the entire the entire meet list, but you don't care. But I can tell you Oklahoma tonight at 7 p.m. against Kentucky, Ohio State, and Rutgers.
How many do they start with in the tournament? Do you know?
Well, so each regional has 10 teams, but there's a play-in meet, like kind of like the first four when it comes to NCAA basketball. So then it's really 8 teams. And so then you take the best 2 out of each. So each one has 2 heats, basically. We'll call it 2 meets, semifinals. So you take the best 2 out of each of those. So Florida has advanced out of that first wave.
Gotcha.
So there were 8 teams in the Tempe regional, and that, well, again, 10, then 8. And then now there's 4. So Saturday night, there will be the 4 teams. That's when Florida goes up against Georgia, Michigan State, and Cal.
Okay.
Then they advance to the if Florida advances, then they go to the NCAA tournament later down the line. That is later in April. And that is in Fort Worth, Texas. And I think if Florida's in that, I think we should take the show on the road.
Should we?
Yeah.
I want to see the vault in person.
Yes, you want to see the vault.
Uneven bars.
Yeah, Florida's
Aren't they
number
uneven?
1. Yep,
Yeah.
they are uneven bars. Florida's number 1 on the bars and the beams still. Just not quite as good vault and floor.
So do they have kind of like golf does where it's team and then individual also?
They do.
They do? Okay.
Yeah, and so gymnasts don't really care if they win. It's called the all around.
Okay.
And you can win the all around if you have the highest score in all 4, but you have to compete in all 4 of the events. I just never realized how much I used my hands.
I know, I use my hands
There's
a lot.
still one of the from last games competing, right? The girl at one of the California schools. She was kind of famous,
Jordan Childs?
Yeah. She's still competing, isn't she? College?
She might
One of
be.
them.
I don't
I
pay
thought
as much attention to West Coast gymnastics until we get in deeper into the NCAA. It's just because the SEC is so good.
This is just the regional, you're saying?
This is regional
Right.
finals. So yeah, there's
Okay.
4
I
different
gotcha.
sites for regional finals.
Man, that's a
Lexington,
long season.
Kentucky,
It is.
Corvallis,
Those things
Oregon.
take a while too, don't they?
Yes.
Are they
Baton
longer than
Rouge,
swim meets, or are they short?
No, gymnastics
Quick?
meets are so fast.
Oh,
that's
good.
one of the beautiful things.
Listen, swimming takes forever. You're like, oh my gosh, would you hurry up?
Trust
and
me, I
just
know.
Swim.
faster.
Yeah.
Just swim.
Well, because you swim in so many events too. Like I remember swim meets would be like 3 different days.
Yeah.
And depending on when you're swimming, you could be competing all day,
3.
but in
I
different
know.
time frames.
Yeah.
I'd be like, babe, I got to take a walk. I'll be back. Text me when he's coming up.
Well, and it's terrible too because they make all the parents be the timers at swim meets. Like you don't just get to go and attend. Like this isn't like college gymnastics.
Yeah.
I mean, college swim
Swimming.
meets. The parents aren't timing those kids.
Yeah.
But
Right.
when
Or
you're
like high
talking
school
about
ones.
or
Yeah.
younger, and I didn't
Yeah.
swim at Bishop Kenny. I decided just to play
Yeah,
soccer.
our nephew swam at Auburn. I've been to a
Yes.
bunch of those. I mean, when he's swimming, it's different, But
Oh, it's
then once
super
he's done,
exciting.
you're like, okay.
But that's only a
gotta
couple
go.
minutes
Yeah,
usually
it's very
or less,
fast.
right?
Yeah.
If it's a
The diving?
short
Oh,
race,
That's a
the
tough
diving's
one.
cool. Yeah.
It's cool to watch, but it just,
But no, if you were to watch a
takes while.
gymnastics meet start to finish, now this is more of a normal meet where there's 2 teams, hour and a half.
Oh, that's nice.
And that's with commercial breaks in between
Okay.
each
Yeah,
apparatus.
I can get down
But
with
yeah,
that.
it's really quick. And then the quad meets can be a little longer, especially too if there's any sort of scoring discrepancies. So you have the 3 judges, but if there's a big discrepancy between the judges, then they have to have an
Their
official
discussion,
come over and
yeah.
be like, well, why did you give her a 9 and you gave her a 9.975? Like that's way too far.
Yeah.
Right.
Of different scores. So, but typically, if it all goes according to plan, if there's no major injuries, if there's no scoring discrepancies, it's really fast.
Hour and a hook.
Yeah, that's one of the things I love about it is on Friday nights, if the meet starts at 6, done at 7:30.
Wow.
It's fantastic.
That is.
But
I like quick
it's your
things
pace.
like that. Yeah, for gymnastics.
there's your update when it comes to that.
We love it.
That's right. More to do on the other side. You're listening to Helmets and Heels on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
Wonder what Jeff Prosser would be doing if he wasn't on 1010XL?
Secret agent. Secret agent. I could do that.
Jeff Prosser.
As an intelligence operative.
Mornings on 1010XL.
It's time to face your destiny.
You could be working for the resistance.
Brian and Angela Wall here with Window World. By now, everyone has heard about saving money on their energy bills. There are all sorts of things you can do to cut energy costs, but most people don't think about their windows.
But Window World knows that the biggest energy loss in almost every home is the windows. There is more energy loss from old builder-grade windows than just about anything else in your home.
You can upgrade your heating and air, your appliances. That's good too. But before you do all that, upgrade your windows to Window World's energy-efficient windows.
Window World's windows are easy to clean, energy efficient, and have the best guarantee in the business.
Window World's slogan is simply the best for less, and we mean it. You get great American-made windows, and you get to keep more of your money when you buy from Window World. Need any more reasons to buy your windows from Window World? Call them today and set up your free in-home estimate, or go online to windowworldneflorida.com.
Window World, simply the best for less.
Thank you for your business.
Window World also offers energy-efficient doors.
Bowden Iron Associates.
Helmets and Heels Friday.
When you're a little kid on the playground, they tell you don't hit back. Well, the courtroom isn't a playground. And if you've suffered an injury or death in your family, I'm here to tell you it's okay to hit back and fight to make them pay. I'm attorney Brett Hastings, and at Hastings Injury Law, we understand all the pain and emotion that comes with being wrong. And we've dedicated our lives to making things right for people like you. So if you get hit back with Hastings Injury Law. Offices, Jacksonville.
Every day is game day on Jaguars Today. Mike Dempsey and Fat Tony break it down from every angle. Roster moves, matchups, league trends, and the pulse of Duval. Brought to you by Renewal by Anderson, custom windows and doors. 10 to noon weekdays on 1010XL.
It's Leon Cersei, your lemon pepper guy on 1010XL. Still repping Wingstop heavy. Monday night's the big one, the national championship. You don't want to get stuck in the line when the final buzzer sounds. Hit Wingstop's 30 for 30 deal right now. 30 wings, $30, up to 3 different flavors. And pre-order for Monday so they're fresh, hot, and waiting when the ball goes up. Lemon pepper squad, garlic palm, whatever your crew's on. Get ready today at Wingstop.
Can't stop. Wingstop.
Living on Amelia Island, having fun in Fernandina Beach? No matter what brings you to the fun, cozy town, make sure you check out the tap room at Mokama Beer Company. With a full flight of craft creations, from the Cosmico IPA to the Motor, the perfect Pilsners and Lagers, matching memories and some Mokama magic is what it's all about. Mokama Beer Company in Fernandina Beach, near the big water where the sun is born. And look for more Mokama craft at your local Total Wine or ABC Liquors.
If you are an experienced electrician looking for your next big opportunity, look no further than the Miller Electric Company, a trusted name in the industry for over 96 years. At Miller Electric, we tackle the biggest projects in the city, offering you the chance to showcase your skills on a grand scale. We believe in rewarding hard work with the best pay, top-notch benefits, and an unbeatable culture where people actually care about each other. Take your career to new heights with Miller Electric Company. Apply today at millercareers.com. Miller Electric, an equal opportunity employer.
Checkmate. I'm Brendan Cecilia, founder of Checkmate Coatings.
And I'm Chester, the Checkmate chess man.
At most companies, people start on the ground floor and work their way up to the corner office. At Checkmate, I started on the ground floor, and almost 20 years in, that's still where I am, making ground floors look awesome, one garage at a time.
Well, I started as a pawn and worked my way up to king.
No, you didn't. Some guy drew you as a king. I asked them to give you a roller, so at least you'd look like one of the guys.
Yes, I rather would have preferred a sword.
At Checkmate, I work personally with our teams to perfect the preparation and application techniques that make Checkmate floors beautiful and durable.
And I keep things classy with my adorable accent.
Beautiful floors?
Check. Guaranteed to last?
Check. The finishing touch your home deserves? Checkmate.
Transforming your floors, making them great. Checkmate.
Visit checkmatecoatings.com.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Still present, ready. Farah doesn't flinch.
Taylor Dollar, Tom McManus, RJ Saunders. I'm Lauren Brooks with you. By the way, the Rays are set to play the Twins at 4:10 p.m., but the weather up there is horrendous, and so there's already been a power outage at at Target Field at the stadium, and the weather is supposed to be in the 30s with possible snow. That seems impossible here in Florida, where we have just absolutely gorgeous weather.
I mean, it does. It can snow in April.
Mm-hmm.
It has in Chicago many a time. Boston, same thing.
Yeah, it was snowing in
Never
May the last 2 years in Chicago
May.
still.
Yeah.
Their weather's been a kind of like ours has fluctuated a bit
Mhm.
too, but theirs has been crazy. I want to say this last weekend, because one of the days it was chillier here. It was like windy and a little chillier. And I think it was like 65 or something here. And it was like 75 in Chicago. And then the next day it was 47 in Chicago. And I'm like, that's when like that's how people get sick. First of all, that drastic jump. But they had, I showed you guys the other day. I think I showed you guys the other day. It was like the guys working from home. They had their laptops at Wrigley and they were out in the bleachers, like clearly doing some work, but watching some baseball. And it was a day apart. And one guy's wearing like shorts and a short sleeve shirt. And the other guy's wearing a parka and like a beanie. And I'm like, just within one day, the drastic weather change up there. So
lake effect.
Yes. And we've talked about ours a little bit, but it's not that drastic, at least. It's not snowing last weekend.
Yeah. Same with I've been to Denver, in May, and it snowed. That was like the end of May. But it's obviously they've got those mountains there. All right, let's get it back to. We started this week talking about some NFL prospects, and we've got several more to get through. So let's at least get to some defensive tackles because we've talked about edges, we've talked about linebackers, we've talked about a ton of different position groups, wide receivers, tight ends, running backs. But let's get it to defensive tackles. There's one that has been mocked to the Jaguars as far as not necessarily pick 56, but beyond that in the third round, and that's Grayson Halton out of Oklahoma.
Yeah. I saw a mock draft with him today for the going with the Jags' second pick that they have. He was also a Senior Bowl attendee, so there's that. If you missed it earlier in the week when we were talking about this, it's 8 of their draft picks, 8 of 9 last year were all Senior Bowl attendees. So something to just keep an eye on. But overall rankings when it comes to a lot of the big boards, ranked 70th prospect overall, 6th best interior defensive lineman. Around that range is how a lot of people have them. Slower start in college for him. It took a little bit of time for him to get going and really get developed, and then broke out his junior year. So 30 tackles, 6 tackles for loss, 5 sacks, 2 forced fumbles. That breakout year. So some of the notes they say about him: gets off the ball super quick to find ball when it's carried and closing gaps super fast. Mentions so if you want to go, everyone says go watch the game against LSU. That's one of his best career games. So if you want to see what he can really do, that game, and then the one against I think it was I want to say maybe it was the LSU game that everyone's like, just go watch this film, put this on. This is the type of player that you're possibly be getting. So the one knock is the shorter arms. That's going to be one of the conversations around him. And honestly, maybe one of the main reasons that he's a little deeper, not super deep in the draft. Like I said, 70th prospect, but they say those shorter arms and struggling against double teams at time. But the rest is a lot of positives coming out of him. Nose tackle is what he played the majority of the time in college.
Yeah, he's about 295 or something like that. They may move him to 3 technique. We'll see. They say he's the best pass rusher out of the group, and they compare him to Braden Fisk. And if he's anywhere near that, I'm all in.
Yeah,
and the Rams obviously drafted Braden Fisk.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
Yeah, I see 6'3", 293 for Grayson.
Yeah, I like.
He's really
him.
good against the run too. So you get both best of both worlds in that.
I've been seeing Chris McClellan from Mizzou to the Jags and just different mocks. He had about 17.
He was Florida, then Missouri, by the way.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. 17 TFLs. A guy got a fast first step. They said very physical. I like Lee Hunter, and I know he's more of a nose, but he is a massive human being, and he can really move. He's 330 or 320 and ran like a 5 flat. 6'4", so he's a big guy. I do think Devon can play 3 technique, Devon Hamilton, if he had to. I mean, he played that at Ohio State. They basically forced him into the nose tackle role because there was nowhere else you're going to play, and especially with Eric Armstead playing your 3 technique the past couple of years. But
Urban didn't remember his name. Remember?
Yeah, I do remember
He played
that.
for Urban at Ohio State and then the Jaguars. He didn't remember his name.
Listen, I remember like when Jay Grammage, when we were doing a show, we talked about like the nose tackle wasn't a priority for Peterson. It just wasn't. He's like, man, you got to have a good nose to stop the run. But of course,
defense wasn't a priority for him.
No, he wasn't. But Devon obviously does a great job there. But I do like him. I think Lee Hunter out of Texas Tech, he may not be there by even 56, but if he was ended up on this team, that would add some major beef and that's what I think we need. We need to continue to stop the run, but we need guys that can really penetrate and be disruptors in that backfield. So hopefully they can grab one.
Going back to Grayson Halton, just FYI, Chad Ryder has him going in the second round with the 52nd pick to the Packers, so he wouldn't be there. But then ESPN's Matt Miller has him going in the 5th round to the Jaguars with pick 164. So a very wide gap there between those two selections. Normally you see pretty much a consensus, like if a guy is a second rounder, maybe a third round, but you don't usually see second round and fifth round.
Yeah, that's a big
that is interesting. And then also Taylor, Cincinnati's Dante Corleone, who they call the Godfather.
Yeah, which by the way, the one mock I did see earlier had the Jags taking Josiah Trotter, who we've talked about at pick 56, and then getting Grayson Halton at pick 81. So there is some discrepancy.
That was the same one I saw yesterday, I think, because I mentioned Trotter was taken. Was that the NFL one? NFL.com?
So the Sleeper Jaguars, I saw them post, so I don't know who originally. They just, ESPN.
Okay.
That was theirs. And then they have them going a wide receiver after that, Brennan Thompson out of MSU, and then safety Genesis Smith at pick 100.
Arizona.
Yeah.
I've seen two different people with names that are books in the Bible. You've got Ephesians, and then you've got Genesis.
Yes.
I was like, this is really interesting for this draft.
But yeah, Dante Corleone, Cincinnati nose tackle also. The comp that I've seen for him several times on certain draft profiles is Jordan Phillips. Obviously, Miami and then now the Buffalo Bills. Jordan Phillips is a player that you would love to have on your team. 107th ranked, 10th of those interior defensive linemen. 39 tackles, 6.5 for loss, 3 sacks. Second team All Big 12 in the beginning of his career. Then he had a blood clot scare in 2024 where he ended up missing 3 months of football. And
that's really scary.
Yeah, it was a scary situation there. Seems like everything's good from what we've heard. Obviously, none of the medicals came back with any issues in that sense, at least from what I've read and heard. 2025, some of that initial production dipped after those blood clots. So people are kind of now you're kind of trying to see where that value is in projection, because it's like, okay, he missed a long time. He missed 3 months, almost the whole football season from that blood clot issue. And did it just take a little bit to really get going and some of that production get dipped? So that's why I think he's dropped a little more. He'd probably be higher if he didn't have that issue. But they talk about he doesn't get moved off the double teams often. He's fast for a 340-pound guy. His first step quickness, fast first step quickness, but pass rush moves diminish after his initial rush is what they say. So, but I feel like when you look at just that first before he had the blood clot issues, it's everything you would want out of a nose tackle. So you just kind of hope in that sense that you'd take a little bit of risk, because he didn't get that back this last year, that at least box score wise of what you're reading off of him.
Yeah, 6'1", 340 is a fire plug, and if you need him at the nose, that's
massive.
I know.
That is, yeah, I mean, it's going to be tough to move, especially if you're looking at that nose tackle position. Caleb Banks is the wild card with the foot injury.
Yeah.
He's a beast when he's healthy, right?
Oh, yeah. And that's what I've seen before we found out about the foot injury. He was a lock going in the first round.
Yeah.
Caleb was. Yeah. And then after the foot injury, people were like, well, but he still ran a really fast 40 time with a 4.8
It's got to
with
be
a foot
a
injury.
hairline or a stress fracture or something like that.
That's what I would think.
It just hurts. It does hurt.
Yeah.
And you can't,
but it's only 40 yards. You can do anything for 40 yards.
you could even, I played with one before. Like, you tape it up enough, you can play a game on it. It hurts during the week. It hurts walking around, but when you get that adrenaline going and you're playing ball, you kind of forget about it, you know? I mean, look with Josh Allen. I mean, he had a broken foot. He was okay. I'm sure it hurt him.
We've seen people battle through crazy injuries.
But we'll see with Caleb Banks I'd like to know, because he broke it.
Byron Leftwich.
Or before the combine, right? Almost right before.
Yeah.
I wonder how he broke it. Like, did he step off something? Was he working out and bounding? Came down on it? That's going to be all worked out.
Which I'm sure the teams discussed that with him at the combine, although I don't think he even knew that he had it at that point in time. Yeah, and then I've seen other people say, like, Caleb, because of this injury, Caleb Banks is now going to fall into the second round, and he's going to be a steal for someone when it comes to that round. By the way, the ESPN mock draft is Mel Kiper Jr., Matt Miller, Jordan Reed, and Field Yates. All 4 of those guys to those picks for the Jaguars.
Yeah, the interesting, talking about Caleb Banks too. So he missed the majority of 2025 also with the foot injury that happened in fall camp. So I think teams are going to pay close attention to that, because you missed the majority of the season already with the foot injury, and then you're good. Yeah, it's the left foot, I believe. I think it was both.
Same injury.
And then broke it at the combine.
I guess the plus for him is the fact that even though Florida's season, as we all know was terrible, he ended up still wanting to play and going out there even though they weren't going to win anything, right?
Yeah.
And so scouts or teams can be like, all right, well, this is a guy that's going to battle through everything just to get on the football field, which is great. But
for sure.
The medical people, obviously, like a Dr. Kaplan for the Jaguars, they have to take all of that into consideration. And then they have to predict, like with Miles Jack. That's why Miles Jack fell, in the second round?
Yeah.
Because of that microfracture with the knee. And people were really concerned about it. But
especially back then, microfracture was like, oh no.
Right.
Because they didn't really know how you're going to recover.
because that was what he was drafted in 2016, I want to say. Right. And so even with Jalen Ramsey, like him coming into the league, he had a little bit of a knee injury too. And then he was plagued with that a little bit his rookie season. And I just remember how upset he was if anyone asked him anything about the injury. He would like clap back and be like, like I am perfectly fine. Like, well, you have a knee brace on. So clearly you're not perfectly
Clearly you're not.
All right. So those are defensive tackles. Any other ones you want to throw in the mix?
The kid from Georgia, Kristen Miller, he's a good player. I like him.
And if you go to Georgia, you're going to be good in the NFL defensively. We know that to be true.
What school is the Orange
go to
kid?
Philly.
Iowa State. Dominique Orange.
Yeah, Orange.
Yeah, he's like kind of a project type, but got a ton of athletic ability.
If Trent Baalke was still here, then he would take him. If he's a project.
So let me ask you, because your guys are more nose, Taylor. You're thinking like, hey, we still want Devon back. Obviously, he's going to be back, but he is going to be 29, 30 years old. Time to get a little bit younger. Is that your thinking?
Yeah, I think so. And I talked to a lot of people. I was just looking kind of in the range. So I was working on those first couple picks rather than going too deep into them, when we're talking about this. Because if you go deeper, there's a lot of guys that maybe more projects. But if you're just having somebody come in that maybe sits behind Eric Armstead this year and then you don't really see him until next year, those guys you want later in the draft. But to me, those first couple picks, you want somebody who's going to be contributing right away. And so I was looking at guys that I thought they could get in the range, and they just both happened to be nose tackles that I was seeing. But I do think that from a lot of the draft podcasts that I've done the last few weeks, almost everybody says when you're drafting the defense, sometimes it's for a couple years from now, because it does take some of these guys to a little bit longer to develop, especially some of these defensive linemen when it comes to the next level. So in my head, like you're talking about almost 30-year-old Devon, and you have a backup plan, next year or the year after.
Right now, we don't know. Dickerson,
I have no idea. Yeah, I think on the depth chart they have Dickerson. So it's
but you need
at
more.
This point,
you need more than just that.
And you'd love to have both guys with the ability to get to the quarterback. I think Devon's really good against the run. I don't know that part
having
of his
the pass
game,
rush ability.
is going to be there.
I would love. Wouldn't it be great if they could hit on either O line or D line? That's just a day one starter. That'd be pretty awesome.
And Dickerson is 31, or he'll be 31 years old this year. So you always want to obviously have depth, but also have some more youth there.
He can play too.
Well.
He was coming on towards the end of the year. He was making some things happen. Yeah. No, he's got the right motor.
Absolutely. Sure. Like you do, Tom, considering this is your second show of the day. Same with RJ. What great motors.
Right. Way to go, R to the J with no J.
All right. So the golden moment is on the other side. You are listening to Helmets and Heels on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
What's the deal with the show? The 1010XL Podcast Network is now available just about everywhere you find podcasts.
I mean, I think the show's going to be a huge hit.
Search for your favorite 1010XL podcast in your platform of choice.
Get ready for spring turkey season at Green Acres Sporting Goods. Find shotguns trusted in the field from Browning, Beretta, and Benelli. Plus, the newest bows are ready to test shoot from Hoyt and Matthews. For over 55 years, Green Acres Sporting Goods has helped Northeast Florida hunters gear up with confidence. Stop by Green Acres today at the corner of Normandy and Hammond Boulevard, or shop online anytime at greenacresporting.com.
Helmets and Heels Friday.
Written by Bowden Iron Associates.
Frank Franzi here for Bono's Pit Barbecue. Bono's has been serving Jacksonville's best barbecue for over 75 years. And now, catch this. Bono's new limited time offer features an Atlantic fried cod platter with 2 pieces of mouth-watering fried cod and 1 southern side for $15.49, or a fried cod sandwich with 1 southern side for $12.99. You can't beat that deal. And after 1 bite, you'll be hooked. So you better hurry in. The fried cod platter right now at Bono's. And remember, if you don't see a pit, it ain't legit.
Credit card interest rates are now over 29%. Most people are only making the minimum payments, so they're getting nowhere. Hey, Prosser here, but here's what many homeowners don't realize. Using the equity in your home, you can easily access hundreds of thousands in cash. With Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan, you can pay off your credit card, your existing HELOC, your car loans, or get money for that home improvement project. One client just got $100,000 approved and saved over $1,500 a month. Here's the best part. With Loan Pronto, you can do it all from your phone. With zero out-of-pocket, no hard credit pull up front, no appraisal, no long, drawn-out bank process, and no touching your first mortgage. Rates are at a near 3-year low. Act now. Go to loanpronto.com. See how much you can get in about 60 seconds. Loan Pronto, 2,800 5-star Google reviews. Call 904-999-1508 or go to loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
New course alert. The Golf Club at Southampton will host this year's Coastal Equipment Guggen Open, Monday, April 27th. For a chance for you and a partner to play, text Guggen to the text line designed by Lifetime Enclosures at 641-1010. Score a hole-in-one and win an Atlantic Infinity QX80. Enjoy a Chick-fil-A breakfast and a Dandy Foods lunch. Check out the latest big boy toys from Ride Now Power Sports. Thanks to our sponsors, Taco Lou, Lift Power, Instant Keys, and Southern Oak Insurance.
I'm here with Clayton Bromberg of Underwoods. In today's world of retail, how has a store like Underwoods stayed viable against the big national stores?
Frank, that's a question with a direct answer. At Underwoods, we've never aspired to be the biggest. What we've always tried to do is be the best. When you take this approach, there's some things that come to mind immediately, like fine quality merchandise bought by buyers that are experts, high levels of service delivered by a staff that are helpful and know what they're doing. Then there's some things that people don't really think about at all, like the finer a gem, the more rare it is. And these gems are not mass producible because they were made by God millions of years ago. Because of that, there just aren't enough of these for the big multi-store retailers to buy and put into their merchandising schemes. So at Underwoods, we buy these finer, rarer gems and create jewelry pieces that the people in Jacksonville expect out of us.
When you want the best, it's Underwoods. Underwood Jewelers in San Marco, in Avondale, and at the shops of Ponte Vedra.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's team time, Farah doesn't flinch. Now, the Monahan's golden moment. Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach, your local family jewelers.
Staying a little bit on that defensive tackle prospects, we said a few names that we like for that interior defensive line that maybe fit where the Jags are picking and their needs right now. So Daniel Griffiths posted earlier a consensus defensive tackle pass rush win percentage for this draft coming up. Peter Woods with the highest, 8%. Behind that is Caden McDonald, and then Caleb Banks, Christian Miller, Lee Hunter, Dominique Orange, Grayson Halton, Daryl Jackson, and Caleb Proctor are the top when it comes to that pass rush win percentage. So several of those guys we just mentioned too. So you talk about being able to stop the run, but also being able to get to the quarterback.
Yeah. I mean, look, and if you can just add a little bit more and you get, if Eric's here with a healthy, arm and being able to pass rush like he was in the early part of the year, you got something. We know that's what and look, again, having Travis play corner, if that's the case, man, that's going to help the pass rush a lot too.
Yeah.
It really will. And then hopefully, you can find
rush and cover. That's what we talked about in 2017.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, right.
They could rush and they could cover, so that's why the defense was so good.
Yeah. And the defense was scoring then, if you remember. They were scoring almost every game.
I was going to say, almost every game you could almost assume they were going
to get at least one,
off or get a fumble or something. So, listen, we had the takeaways last year, that's for sure. We just didn't have enough of that inside pressure. It showed up on third down. You weren't good enough on third down. You got to be better on third down. And, you just got to put teams away. You got to put teams away in this league, look, teams are good enough to come back. I get that. But eventually you got to stop it. You got to make, hey, I got a lead. It's fourth quarter. We don't give up leads in the fourth quarter. Period.
Would you assume, both of you, that the Jaguars' takeaways number will decrease from, 31?
Mm-hmm.
And then the sack number will increase? And what was that, 20-something?
Yeah, I would say, it is hard to replicate that amount of interceptions or takeaways, I guess, in general. I don't know if it will drastically change because I do think that's just kind of, I think that's Coach Campanile's kind of mantra, too, when it comes to swarming the ball. And I think we've seen them build players in the secondary that are guys that can catch the ball and not just get their hands on the ball. And there's obviously, we've had corners, and that was one of the knocks on Tyson Campbell in the sense of he just never really came down with the interceptions. And then Greg Newsome wasn't the guy to really do that either. So addressing that, a guy like Travis Hunter coming in and playing the full season, that is somebody that you're going to expect to still get those takeaways. And so I would expect it to, I think they'll still have a good amount. I think they'll still be towards the top of the league in takeaways, but I do think that it's hard to replicate. That's a really high number. You don't see that often with that many. And even the best of it, when you talk about the Eagles and some of the teams that do that, usually it's not back-to-back years where you can hit that high of a number. And so, your hope is that the sacks go up. You definitely want to see more sacks.
Yeah, and it's crazy too because they got off to like 13 right away. It felt like last year, and a lot of it was because they were hitting the QB. They were getting in their face and disrupting timing and all that kind of stuff. And then it kind of waned a little bit. And then they didn't feel like they got it back. They got it back a little bit here and there, but I don't. What's the most important other than points? Right, you gotta hold your team to points, right? What's the next important stat as a defense? Do you think?
I would say probably like yards per catch, maybe.
Yards per yeah, and they were very good at that. They were actually tied for 7th last year at a 6.2 yards per attempt against them.
Once upon a time, I would have said run defense and like yards per carry, but I don't know that the NFL is as
they
built
were very
around.
good at that.
And
too.
they were,
I'd probably say completion percentage for the opposing quarterback, just because some of the best defenses you see are the ones where it's like, the no quarterback. They keep them in that 50 to 55% completion percentage, and then that's when you're able to really, when you're locking down quarterbacks in that way. That's one of the signs that I think signal to them.
They were 62.4%. That was tied for 7th. Their 6.2 yards per attempt against was tied for 3rd. So that's really good.
Yeah.
So the one that stands out for me is that 3rd down, 40.4%. You were ranked 17th, so you got to be better, and that's just giving the ball back to your offense. It's simple as that.
And red zone. Sorry, I would probably throw that one in too, Tom. Red zone efficiency, or inefficiency, depending on how you look at it.
Okay, fair. But if you get off on 3rd down, maybe you're not in the red zone as much.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So
they go hand in hand. I would say. Yeah.
And look, there's different. It's not like always 3rd and long that they're getting the first down. So there's different 3rd and ones. It's not just the pass defense overall, but that 3rd down defense has got to be better. Just so you get and again, all these other stats, you're like, you can't. They're 20 points a game, 8th in the league giving up. Like, if your offense can't score more than 20 a game, you got
a problem. Yeah.
Like, that's a big problem. The yards per carry, it's tied for 2nd. Yards per game in the rush game, number 1. Like, and then the
secondary numbers are surprising.
Second. What's that?
Those secondary numbers are surprising. That the Jaguars were amongst the top 10 as far as the
yards per attempt and completion percentage.
I felt like that was the part. Obviously, the pass rush didn't get to the quarterback enough, but other than that, I felt like the secondary let this team down time after time.
Well, the last game, there was an 80% completion percentage, so I think that sticks in our craw.
Yeah.
We'd have to go back and look at what they gave up games before that, but they were pretty consistent.
Seahawks and Rams, I guarantee those 2 quarterbacks had good completion percentages, Darnold and Stafford against the Jags.
Probably so.
Right?
Yeah, I would think so. I don't know. We'd have to look it up. And see. But I will say this, just because I tracked it all year, they were pretty consistent in that the yards per attempt and the completion percentage. They were doing a good job with that. So that's good coverage, and that's getting to the quarterback enough, or getting to him some, but not enough. So get off the field on 3rd down, put guys away in the 4th quarter, no 4th quarter comebacks. And that's how you make this team better.
Yeah, absolutely. I would say that they did a lot of those things really well. And that's the good part, because they're returning a lot of starters from the defense. It's really just Devin Lloyd that's not returning. And so, when you have you just need to improve slightly.
Got to add a little more.
Right.
Just a little more.
But think about the year before. 9 takeaways. One of those was on special teams. So 8 defensive takeaways to get in the 30s is wild.
Not good.
Right. Well, that shows the difference of a staff that holds their players accountable, as opposed to ones that didn't. And you could see by the way they played.
Abso-frickin-lutely, you are correct about that. All right, 1 segment to go. I'll bring you today's Pest of the Day. On the other side, you are listening to Helmets and Heels on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Live streaming from the XL Digital Studios. Brightened by Harbor Dental Care, Jacksonville's first choice for dental emergencies.
When you're hungry, go big, and more importantly, go to Dailies, where they got anything and everything to tantalize your taste buds and fill you up. At Dailies, our barbecue beef brisket sandwich is slow smoked to perfection, tender, juicy, and full of bold flavor. It's the kind of sandwich that truly satisfies. Try the barbecue brisket sandwich at Dailies. Meanwhile, some favorites never go out of style. The Duval sub at Dailies is stacked, loaded, and made with the bold flavor you want in every bite. Fresh ingredients, big taste. It's a local favorite. Grab the Duval sub today at Dailies. Or maybe you just want a delicious chicken sandwich. Some choices just work. The chicken sandwich at Dailies is crispy on the outside, it's juicy on the inside, and it is full of flavor. Perfect for lunch, perfect for dinner, perfect anytime hunger hits. So grab the chicken sandwich today at Dailies. Dailies is made fresh, it's made local, and Dailies is built for big appetites. I'll see you there today.
It's a Helmets and Heels
Bowden Iron Associates.
Friday.
La playa is Spanish for the beach. If you can't remember that, the word Corona also works. Corona, La Playa awaits.
Best Bet is number one. That's right, Best Bet Jacksonville, Orange Park, and St. Augustine have one-card poker, the fastest and easiest card game to learn and play. Play one card at a time, and the highest card wins even money. If the card values are the same, it's time for war, just like the game you remember. You must be 18 years or older to play. Learn all the games at bestbetjacks.com. That's bestbetjacks.com.
The Jacksonville Icemen are in town for 3 games, starting Thursday for $3 beer and wine night, plus Paint the Ice. Be part of Paint the Ice post-game and honor a loved one in a powerful way. Your $5 donation helps support cancer-related organizations right here in our community. Then join us again on Friday and Saturday as the Icemen continue to freeze the Florida Everblades. All games start at 7 p.m. Tickets available on Ticketmaster or by visiting jacksiceman.com.
Iceman hockey is #Sub-Zero.
Rick Ballou for Coy Dental. That's right, Carlson Dental is now Coy Dental. Dr. Lee has been practicing there for 9 years, has purchased the company. The Coy Dental team still has the same great dentists and staff. And remember, if you get nervous visiting a dentist, don't. There's never a problem at Coy Dental with light sedation for cleaning and deep sedation for all your restorative needs. Coy Dental, located in Bartram Park.
Been in a car crash? I'm local attorney Rick Alexander, and I've made it our mission at the Alexander Law Practice to listen to you so I can fight for the best possible result for you. I've been practicing over 30 years, and our team focuses on guiding you through the entire process. And because fees and reimbursement costs come out at the end of the case, I will never ask you to come out of pocket. For a free review, call 904-400-6600 or log on to alexanderlawpractice.com, Jacksonville.
Don't wait around like you're the last pick of the draft. When your car needs an oil change, go where you're a first-round priority. Valvoline Instant Oil Change. No appointment needed. Just drive in, stay in your car, and in 15 minutes, you're back on the road. That's a first-round performance. With convenient Jacksonville locations, a 4.7-star national rating, and named #1 Quick Lube for customer service by Forbes, Valvoline delivers every time. Valvoline Instant Oil Change. Drive in today.
Mark Watson with Hardball Creative, letting you know that Hardball now offers web stores, so your employees can order their own branded gear, and you have more time for Wordle. Check it out at hardballcreative.com.
Hardball Creative. Hardball does it all. 1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Focused, fueled, fearless, Farah.
Taylor Dahl, Tom McManus, RJ Saunders. I'm Lauren Brooks with you as we are getting closer and closer to Easter Sunday. All right, I did want to let everybody know, Gators fans know the good news that Tommy Lloyd, the Arizona basketball coach, got a 5-year extension earlier today. Why is that good news for the Gators? Because people suspected that if Tommy Lloyd left Arizona for North Carolina, that Todd Golden would be a very clear option for Arizona because he's from that area of the country.
Wow.
So
you're safe
that
for a little
at least
while.
for now, yeah. And you haven't seen a ton of North Carolina and Todd Golden,
not much at all.
mixed in there at all.
I've seen way more Donovan.
Yes, Billy
lot of
Donovan,
Billy,
which
yeah.
you're happy.
Yeah, I'm
with that.
fine. Bye. Bye. Trent was telling
Don't
me, he
let
was
the
like,
door
oh,
hit you on the way out.
Trent was telling me because he saw some tweet about it and it was like, oh, Billy Donovan, you were hearing links, but apparently or reportedly, there's already like an offer, like UNC has made like a kind of behind the scenes offer to Billy Donovan. And he was like, but the report is that Billy Donovan is like, he's not the type of guy to like do that while the season's still, while they're still going. I was like, it's done. Like the season's done. Nothing else matters. Like they're terrible. They've won like 4 games in 2 months. It does not. Nothing matters. Just goodbye.
Got to go.
Yeah.
Time to go.
Time to go.
Got a connection to BC. Mr. Donovan does, right? His dad was coach at BC.
Yeah, but you already have your new coach.
Yeah, we don't want him. No, we like our guy. The Hurley guy. We like
don't
him.
want
Bill Murray.
Donovan.
Bill Murray's son, Hurley's guy. That's what we'll call him.
I think you'd still want Billy Donovan over him, but that's just...
No. We're going with the young kid who's hungry.
There you have it. All right, time now for today's Pest of the Day is always brought to you by our friends at Terminix. You can find them online at Terminix.com. That's TERMINIX.com. They do a fabulous job taking care of our house, Everbank Stadium, ViStar Ballpark, ViStar Veterans Memorial Arena, and all of your favorite event venues around town. Although I'm guessing the pest control issues at Everbank Stadium right now might not be the biggest concern for them. It might be the actual not tearing the whole thing down, obviously, but getting parts of that stadium to be rebuilt and renovated for,
those rats better start running.
They're just a few months away from having games. Preseason games are in 4 months.
Yeah. I saw all the seats. Did you see the pictures of all the stadium seats out by some dumpster or something?
Yeah.
I drove by the Four Seasons this morning.
When we were going to the Jumbo Shrimp game last night, you're on the Hart Bridge, and obviously you have a great view of downtown. And I feel like it elevates our city, both the Four Seasons and then the Jags' new headquarters, the One Tower Court. It feels like you're driving into a different city almost.
A little skyline change.
Yeah.
We needed it.
We did, yeah.
We absolutely did. All right, so the pest, by the way, is going to be the fact that Kirk Cousins has made this much, we talked about it yesterday, but has made this much guaranteed money. And I feel like there are going to be NFL teams that are going to look at different quarterbacks or look at quarterbacks differently, like signing some of these veterans. How can you pay someone that much guaranteed money at this stage of the career after all the different teams he's played for, the injuries and things like that? Like the Deshaun Watson, those owners, obviously the Haslams, they should never have paid him that guaranteed money. Yes, you should get a portion of it guaranteed, but not that much guaranteed.
Yeah, he's had a contract where he got $90 million guaranteed. That's insane. It's going to be a trivia question down the road of like, who are the highest 4 like quarterbacks who have made the most guaranteed? And everyone's going to be like, Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, Matthew Stafford, and then they're never going to get Kirk Cousins unless you live in this world right now where we've seen it happen now at this point. But just like, and maybe this changes. All these quarterbacks are making so much money. You don't see that guaranteed as much anymore. So I don't know how much that list will change because I don't know how much. I don't think we're going to see a lot of. I think he had a $90 million guaranteed, a $50 million guaranteed. This one's a $20 million guaranteed. I read it yesterday to you, Tommy, on break. It was like over $390 million in guaranteed money he's made on 7 contracts.
Yeah, and it's been, I think, was it the last 11 years he's fully guaranteed, which is insane. The guys, whoever's negotiated his deal is really, really good. We just know how important the quarterback position is. Even if you're not a superstar, if you could just run the show and not turn the ball over and be efficient enough, that's value. I mean, the market's what it is. I mean, the market's ridiculous right now. I mean, the cap's 300 million.
300 million,
over 300 million. We're actually talking about a Jaguars today. In 2015, it was 147.
Yeah.
So in 10 years, it's doubled.
Right, which that's not normal, obviously. Yeah, it's $301,200,000.
Right. I mean, these guys it's great. They're making so much money, but because you could go down a list and be like, wow, he got that. Like, how about the kid that has had only 8.5 sacks? Carolina gave him $30 million a year. He's never had over 8.5 sacks. Jalen Phillips. You're like, really? Like, really? That's what you're.
Because they're paying for the potential.
I know.
For Kirk Cousins, you're not paying for the potential. He was drafted in the 4th round in 2012.
It's only a 1-year deal, really, for him, and it's going to be $20 million, I think, guaranteed. And if he can, it's that supply and demand in the market included.
His first year, he made 2.3 $7 million with Washington. Because, of course, they drafted RG3 first and then doubled back and got him in 2016.
How do you like that? How do you like that?
That's right. In 2016, he made or signed a 1-year, $19.953 million deal. So at that point, he probably thought, hey,
this is going good.
Yeah, I'm making bank. And then, of course, another year, $23 million, and then the 3-year, $84 million with Minnesota that, as we know, is fully guaranteed. Then the contract extension, 2 years, $66 million. Then a year for $35, and a year for 20, 4 years, $180 for the
and look, the tag of the QB goes up, 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 and up, and up. So that's why those numbers are up. Yeah, he's a QB. Good for him. Play quarterback, kids.
Yeah.
Don't go play anything else. Be a quarterback. Matt Ryan's made over $300 million.
Yeah.
How about that? I mean, that's just unbelievable. And he's a good quarterback.
Yeah, I would say Matt Ryan's much better than Kirk Cousins.
What's that?
I would say Matt Ryan was much better than Kirk Cousins.
And Matt was a starter for I feel like starter for a lot more. Like Kirk's had bursts of starts.
Right.
Like he'll start for a year and then he's not, and then he's starting for a year and then he's not.
Yeah.
Matt Ryan had a more, like consistent being a starter in the NFL.
So Matt Ryan in his career, 62,792 yards, 381 touchdowns, 183 interceptions. It's a lot of games. Kirk Cousins, of course, it didn't pull up his career. It just pulled up this year. So pause. Y'all talk amongst yourselves, and I'll get his career numbers.
Well, I doubt it's that high as far as
just because of the starts compared to it.
Right.
Well, yeah,
but
good
hey,
for Kirk.
What a career, what a career. I mean, Stephon Gilmore just officially retired. 13 years.
Yeah.
13 years, man. That pension's going to be insane, which is so great. He's already made a ton of money, so he's going to walk out one of the best DBs in his era. Stephon Gilmore had a great career.
Yeah. Okay, so for Kirk Cousins, total career yards, 44,700, touchdowns, 298, and interceptions, 131.
Wow.
So
his ratio is better than Matt Ryan's, actually.
But I would still say Ryan had the better career. But like we said, Cousins isn't done yet. Let's
he's still going.
That's right. Let's say hello to the Frangie Show.
Now, the 2-minute drill is driven by nobody but Nimnicht. Nimnicht Chevrolet on Cassett Avenue and Nimnicht Buick GMC on Phillips Highway.
Matt Ryan or Kirk Cousins, Hayes? Who you taking as your quarterback?
Oh, Matt Ryan by a mile.
That's what I thought too.
Yeah.
And that's Tom's arguing and he's a Boston College guy.
I didn't play with him. I still like him.
Yeah.
So we saw the rundown for your show. Y'all are going to be talking exclusively about Connor Griffin.
Yeah, get ready. I'm sure our Pittsburgh fans will be locked in as we break down the 19-year-old Pirates phenom. But I mean, I will say, it is pretty cool for Frangie that he's got the greatest pitcher in one of them in the bigs, maybe the best. And now he's got this 19-year-old phenom that everybody thinks is the next sort of Bryce Harper-esque kind of player. So anyway, it's pretty cool. Hopefully the Pirates will finally be able to bring Frank some October joy. But
and O'Neal Cruz too. We're super excited for him.
Yeah.
Although Frank
he's had a
hates
rough
him.
year.
It's so. Ask Frank next time he's in here about O'Neal Cruz because he thinks he's the worst center fielder in the history of baseball. So that's been kind of funny.
Yeah, his attitude on him has changed.
Yeah, but yeah. So we'll certainly talk lots of Pirates baseball coming up on the Frangie Show as they get ready to start, I think, within the next
it's up
30 minutes. So that'll be interesting. Pete Prisco will join us in the 5 o'clock hour to talk Jaguars and NFL as we get closer to the NFL draft. And we'll do our Loser Monday, our Final Four selections, which will be a lot of fun. We do an open draft on scoring. So we each take 3 players. So that'll be a lot of fun. So it should be a fun Frangie Show. Happy Easter to all of you and all the listeners.
Yeah, same to you. And 4:12 is the first pitch. I don't know why it's 12.
Baseball does the weird times.
4:12. All right. Thanks, Hayes, and happy Easter to you and your family. All right, that'll do it for us. By the way, good luck hosting Easter on Sunday with the 35 people.
Happy Easter to you guys.
Yes, and have fun rocking out with Dad Bods.
Yes, absolutely.
Tomorrow
night.
Great show.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Taylor, get the Iceman a win tonight.
Yes, let's go. Get a dub.
I love it. All right, for Taylor Dahl, Tom McManus, RJ Saunders, I'm Lauren Brooks with you. These heels are made for talking, and we will talk to you on Monday.